At the top of Thunder Island within the virtual universe, Luo Feng walked side by side with Lord of Bingfeng. The air carried a palpable sense of victory and relief. Despite all the fame the primordial star had earned in the previous battle, elevating Luo Feng to the level of the Lords of the Universe, he remained grounded. In his heart, he knew he was still at the most basic level among those supreme beings. His true motivation had always been clear: to reclaim possession of Earth as quickly as possible so his people could finally call home the planet they loved so deeply. Now, that had become reality. Earth had returned. Earthlings were no longer mere ordinary humans. They had become a noble branch of the universe, comparable to elite races such as the people of Manka Star. The goal had been achieved. However, Luo Feng deeply understood his own limitations. Even with the help of Jia and the overwhelming power of the Star Tower, the primordial star still faced disadvantages against stronger galaxy lords. Without the tower, the outcome would have been disastrous. That awareness pushed him to seek new paths of power. It was in the primal secret region that Luo Feng discovered an alternative route to power. The Supreme Wing, killing Wu Yuyi, possessed a rare and special ability: absolute large-scale control over time and space. Combined with the Arcana Flaming Sand Cup, a top-tier domain treasure, and the micro-universe, he created a devastating suppression. Those three overlapping elements were capable of completely pressuring a peak domain supreme treasure. An enemy lord of the universe, even equipped with powerful treasures, would have their strength reduced by 1 or even 2 entire levels. It was an overwhelming tactical advantage. Normally, Luo Feng only used the Golden Kingdom and the Flame Domain, a combination already formidable, but still far from reaching the pinnacle of domain treasures. In critical moments, activating the micro-universe demanded a high cost. It consumed 10% of his divine body at the immortal level. Although he could now reduce that expense to 1%, or even 1,000th, the resulting weakening was significant. Luo Feng reflected with an internal sigh. He possessed only one extremely powerful auxiliary secret technique. What would it be like to possess a supreme attack secret technique? Many Galaxy Lords and Ice Peak Lords mastered such techniques. Before, he survived at the bottom by relying on escapes and thefts. Now, at least, he could suppress Lord Sirius. Upon seeing the imposing figure in the distance, Luo Feng approached respectfully. "Teacher." The Lord of Bingfeng also greeted with reverence. Chaos City leader, with his majestic presence, warmly received them, personally serving fruit wine to both disciples. They sat down, and the master observed their expressions with a wise smile. "From your faces, the result was excellent. Luo Feng, tell me everything from the beginning." Luo Feng recounted every detail clearly. He was the one who best understood the complete sequence of events. The Lord of Bingfeng listened attentively, recognizing Luo Feng's fundamental role. When the moment came to speak about the fragments, the Chaos City leader looked toward Bingfeng. 2 silk-pulling diagram fragments? 5 in total? The Lord of Bingfeng answered directly. "Luo Feng is far too humble. Without the assistance of his Golden Kingdom to compete against the universe masters of other forces, I would never have obtained so much. That Golden Kingdom is extraordinarily powerful, capable of controlling time and space even better than many universe masters specialized in it. It rivals my Frozen Mist Kingdom and stands equal to a peak kingdom." The Chaos City leader was visibly shocked. "Golden Kingdom? What Golden Kingdom? Luo Feng, when did you obtain another treasure capable of controlling time and space?" With a light laugh, the Lord of Bingfeng explained what the teacher still did not know. Luo Feng confirmed it all came from killing Wu Yuyi. His teacher had given him the wing, and on the primordial star he obtained a pair of supreme wings. The two fused, creating the 4 wings he now carried. The revelation of an incomplete treasure fusion left both the Chaos City leader and Bingfeng in deep shock. The master analyzed. No wonder killing Wu Yuyi seemed perfect. It was a broken part of something much greater. Normally, fragmented parts lose much of their power, but this one retained its excellence. This treasure must be extraordinary. Luo Feng agreed, explaining that the current greatest power of killing Wu Yuyi was controlling time and space in groups, superior to most universe masters in that field, although still inferior to the absolute strongest. It was undoubtedly a top-level treasure among the highest ranks. The conversation evolved toward the power of the 4 wings. Luo Feng admitted they were incomplete. The Chaos City leader laughed, impressed. "It must be a unique peak treasure." Luo Feng ventured. "Could it not be part of a Xeon?" The master explained authoritatively that Xeon treasures are born complete and indestructible. Not even within the three Jedi of the universe was it possible to damage them. Only the owner could intentionally separate parts. The Lord of Bingfeng then highlighted the greater achievements. Luo Feng not only contributed immensely with the fragments, but also suppressed the Lord of Sirius, owner of the Dream Ancestral Domain, and obtained the Flaming Sand Cup. The eyes of the Chaos City leader shone when he heard about the cup. He carefully observed Luo Feng. It was not luck. Luo Feng, I know you still have not reached the true level of a Lord of the Universe. Your divine power is inferior to many others. Even so, you managed to suppress the Lord of Sirius and seize the treasure. I intended to wait until you became a Lord of the Universe before allowing your entry into the Universe Sea, in order to protect you. But now, you are ready. Luo Feng felt his heart accelerate. The Universe Sea, the true cosmic battlefield beyond the primitive universe, which was merely a comfortable and relatively safe cradle. In the Universe Sea, infinite chaotic currents stretched endlessly. The primitive universe was the largest celestial body known, yet still tiny compared to the whole. Small universes floated like drops of water within an immense ocean. There, ancient cosmic hegemonies wandered. Extreme dangers awaited, especially within the depths of the three Jedi, where even the strongest beings in the universe could fall. Unimaginable treasures were constantly born. The primitive universe opened its rare treasures only at immense intervals, while the Universe Sea was an eternal cauldron of opportunities and threats. It was the place where existences predating the Great Destruction, the cycle of birth, evolution, decay, and annihilation of the cosmos, survived and fought. Those ancient powers, older than those of the primitive universe, offered battles that would accelerate Luo Feng's growth. The Chaos City leader advised him to prepare. The fragments would be evaluated with the giant axe creator. Luo Feng's and Bingfeng's contributions would be generously rewarded. The human race did not mistreat its heroes. As Luo Feng withdrew, he murmured to himself, "Universe." His eyes shone with sharp anticipation. The vast Universe Sea was calling him. Far away from there, 10 billion light-years from the primitive universe, within an infinite chaotic current, a small universe sheltered a dark gathering. Three supreme existences discussed with voices filled with determination and cosmic weight. A tall and majestic being, whose body resembled reinforced steel and whose blazing eyes looked like two stellar fireballs, laughed loudly. "The game has been decided. Those immature beings of the primitive universe suspect nothing. We gained the treasures like madmen. I abandoned the soul of Lord Yuan as a slave. Hao Lei even sacrificed the strange sacred tree. We paid a heavy price, but it was worth it." Another being, covered in brown rocks like a colossal reptile from a living mountain range, growled deeply. "Do not celebrate too early. The game has only just begun. The true harvest will still take time." In the air, an enormous giant phantom of lightning floated, with a sphere of lightning in its chest shining like a star. "This is our final chance in this era of the universe. If we fail, the three of us will also fall. Without us, our race will perish forever." A heavy silence fell upon the three. After a long time, the Thunder Giant spoke slowly. "This time we are completely prepared. We sacrificed much. We must succeed in a single attempt." The others repeated in unison, with absolute faith echoing in their voices. "For eternity, for the race." In the vast divine country, the calm waves of the isolated sea stretched infinitely. Luo Feng remained at the edge of the temple square, his gaze lost on the endless horizon, but his consciousness was already navigating through the virtual universe in search of every possible piece of knowledge about the Universe Sea. What had once been only a distant mention from Chaos City leader was now becoming real. The Universe Sea was not simply a space beyond the primitive universe. It was a truly limitless existence, filled with endless chaotic air currents that created unimaginable dangers. Among all the dangerous places, three stood out as the most terrifying: the Qingfeng realm, the flowing heavy mountains, and the space boats. Those three Jedi were legendary for devouring even the strongest beings in the universe. Outside those deadly zones, what dominated the Universe Sea were the universes, countless and varied, each a world of its own. Luo Feng immersed himself deeply in the materials. There were two main types of universes. The first was the primitive universe, naturally generated, the most powerful and unique in the entire cosmos. It had been born, nurtured hundreds of millions of ethnic groups, reached its peak, decayed, and finally shattered in a great collapse, a complete cycle of reincarnation. After total destruction, everything returned to the origin, and a new primitive universe was born, bringing new races and new powerful beings. It was the root of everything, the source of cosmic life. The second type consisted of the small universes, artificially created by the strongest beings in the universe. Luo Feng reflected on his own journey. At the immortal level, a cultivator formed the divine kingdom. As strength advanced, that kingdom was perfected. Upon becoming a lord of the universe, the laws of space and time within it reached perfection. The final step, becoming the strongest in the universe, transformed the entire divine kingdom into an initial mini-universe, which then evolved gradually. So the ancestor of the starry sky also possessed his own universe, Luo Feng thought, impressed. He now understood why the primitive universe of the human race, created by the original ancestor, remained stagnant in its initial state. The original ancestor was suppressed, and as long as that continued, the evolution of the human universe would remain frozen. The energy contrast between the primitive universe and the small universes was abyssal, like comparing a primordial ocean with puddles of water. One reincarnation of the primitive universe generated countless races and an immense number of experts. The so-called strong beings from the era before the Great Destruction were precisely those who had survived the previous cycle. Luo Feng felt a chill while considering it. Those existences were older than any power in the current primitive universe. They had cultivated for countless eras and survived the chaos of the Universe Sea. They were not easy opponents. The teacher was right. The primitive universe was merely a comfortable and safe cradle. The true battlefield, wild and merciless, was the Universe Sea. 3 days later, an email arrived. The content was direct and heavy with meaning. Giant Axe Creator and the Virtual Universe System had evaluated the silk-pulling diagram fragments. Although they were only disconnected parts, Luo Feng's contribution had been exceptional. He would receive 1,200 treasure points. Lord of Bingfeng would receive 600. The Chaos City leader also informed him that his divine body, wandering through the Universe Sea, would return in haste to personally guide him. Luo Feng's eyes shone with expectation. The teacher possessed 3 divine bodies, one in Chaos City, another in the primitive universe, and the third, the most powerful in combat, wandering through the cosmos. Soon he would see that legendary form with his own eyes. With 1,200 treasure points, Luo Feng began to plan. It was a significant amount, but insufficient for an ordinary peak treasure. The Flaming Sand Cup, which he had obtained, was a superior domain category treasure worth around 3,000 points. Other high-level domain treasures revolved around 2,000. Maximum-level soul treasures and flying palaces were even more valuable. He already possessed the Blood Cloud Palace, but did not dare reveal it openly. Purchasing another high-level flying palace with those points would be wasteful. Better to save these 1,200 points, Luo Feng decided. When he met Master Zuo Shanke, he could request customized refinements of precious treasures. For this incursion into the Universe Sea, his 3 clones, the Earth Body, the Golden-Horned Beast clone, and the Monster Clan clone, would be sufficient. He needed to perfectly master the Flaming Sand Cup and the overlaps with the Micro-Universe and the Killing Wu Yu Yi Wing. Together, those 3 created a horizontal suppression capable of dominating vast areas. Almost a month passed in intense training. At the center of his divine kingdom, infinite golden flames spread, while Luo Feng remained within the heart of an enormous fireball, refining his control. Within the human territory of the primitive universe, beside the vast Qianbao River that stretched for several light years, Luo Feng met the Chaos City leader. Teacher. He performed a respectful salute while carefully observing the divine body before him. The divine body of the Chaos City leader wore a golden robe, with cyan scales covering his head. His face resembled that of a human from Earth, but his calm eyes contained an infinite starry universe. A powerful offensive aura emanated from him, as though time and space around him could shatter at any moment. This was the teacher's strongest form. "Ready?" asked the Chaos City leader. "Yes," Luo Feng answered with determination. They departed. First a teleportation, then Divine Kingdom teleportation. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in a remote region of the primitive universe, before an enormous black hole, the Toya Black Hole, the most powerful in the entire universe. The Chaos City leader explained the 2 methods of entering the Universe Sea. The first involved crossing the intermediate layer of space to the limit, breaking through the cosmic membrane. Lords of the universe were capable of doing that. The second, more direct method, was through the Toya Black Hole. Its twisting force destroyed the membrane, creating a natural shortcut. Luo Feng was impressed by the scale. The black hole was so powerful that it swallowed the surrounding light and stars, plunging vast regions into eternal darkness. The teacher continued. After the black hole, there existed 39 natural wormholes. In the Universe Sea, one could not rely on divine kingdom teleportation, nor freely fly through the dark universe. Survival depended on teleportation and, above all, natural wormholes. A single wormhole could connect distances of dozens of billions of light years. Maps and recorded routes were essential for movement. The Universe Sea was far too vast. Unlike the primitive universe, which possessed a special structure for coordinate confirmation, there it was impossible. Becoming lost meant a terrible fate. Teleporting randomly would only worsen the situation, pushing the traveler farther away each time. Many lords of the universe left incarnations behind in the primitive universe, precisely because of that risk. A detailed map was a matter of life and death. The Chaos City leader handed Luo Feng the most detailed map known by the human race, covering a vast half-star region of the Universe Sea, including the 3 Jedi. The complexity of the information made Luo Feng's heart tremble. It was an invaluable treasure of knowledge. Go, let us head to the Universe Sea. The two advanced directly into the depths of the Toya black hole. The silent roar of overwhelming gravity enveloped them while their figures disappeared into the black abyss. This was Luo Feng's first true entry into the real cosmic stage. The cradle had been left behind. Ahead awaited infinite chaotic currents, ancient dangers, treasures born from chaos, and existences from before the Great Destruction. Luo Feng and the Chaos City leader plunged into the depths of the Toya black hole, the most powerful in the entire primitive universe. The devouring and twisting force acted violently upon their bodies, capable of reducing a cosmic venerable to ashes in an instant. For Luo Feng, however, even weakened 100,000 times, that pressure represented no real threat. Beside his teacher, he advanced firmly toward the core of the black hole. There floated the body of the Toya black hole, a black sphere approximately 3 meters tall, whose surface was covered with intricate dark golden secret patterns. Those patterns formed a strange and ancient design, emanating an infinite and terrifying force of suction and twisting. Around that sphere, the very wall of the primitive universe membrane had been torn apart, creating an irregular opening nearly 10,000 kilometers in diameter. With a precise movement, Luo Feng and Chaos City leader crossed beyond the body of the black hole, completely resisting the crushing attraction, and emerged directly through the crack in the cosmic membrane. It was the Universe Sea. As soon as Luo Feng crossed to the other side, an overwhelming sensation enveloped him. The surrounding space was filled with a dense, chaotic airflow, like an infinite and oppressive mist. That chaotic current emitted a monstrous coercion so powerful that even without deliberately attacking, it was capable of exterminating an ordinary immortal god. Luo Feng felt a deep chill. What crushing pressure! It is infinitely stronger than the chaotic airflow I can manifest within my micro-universe, he thought, impressed by the difference in scale. The Chaos City leader floated in the void, observing the endless current ahead. The chaotic airflow is the primordial energy source of the universe. I do not know for certain regarding the primitive universe, but all small universes created by the strongest beings of the universe use this current as fuel. The purity here is the highest possible, far superior to what is found in the initial state of our primitive universe. Luo Feng nodded, understanding the magnitude. The primitive universe was still in its initial stage, with less pressurized chaotic currents, allowing even ninth-rank stellar beings to move around Chaos City with relative ease. But there, in the Universe Sea, reality was entirely different. Leaving the primitive universe means truly wandering the cosmos, said the Chaos City leader, turning backward. Luo Feng followed his teacher's gaze. Behind them, the irregular opening in the wall of the cosmic membrane revealed a breathtaking sight. The enormous membrane wall stretched infinitely, like a colossal curtain that seemed to obscure half the universe. It was impossible to see its end. Luo Feng contemplated silently. This is the primitive universe, the cradle that generated hundreds of millions of races, the cradle that created me. He did not feel the physical pressure of that gigantic structure, but a sense of inaccessibility and grandeur completely dominated him, like an ordinary human gazing at the sun, distant, unreachable, sublime. How did the original ancestor dare fight against the primitive universe? Luo Feng murmured almost to himself. The Chaos City leader answered with a grave and meaningful voice. The higher one's position, the farther one can see. Even the strongest beings in the universe, including those from the era before the Great Destruction, I have never heard of anyone daring to directly confront the primitive universe. The original ancestor is the only one. Perhaps you may also one day walk that path. Even the strongest beings from past eras do not compare to him. One day you will understand why he dared to resist. Luo Feng felt the weight of those words. The ambition and power of the original ancestor now seemed even more unreachable. They continued onward. The Chaos City leader teleported them to a specific point in the void. There, 39 twisted spatial openings floated, the natural wormholes. Their sizes and distances varied. Luo Feng, consulting the detailed map within his mind, identified each one precisely. He pointed toward one of the largest distorted openings. Our route follows natural wormhole number 15. The Chaos City leader approved with satisfaction. Let us go. In the Universe Sea, ordinary sight was insufficient. Diffused divine power allowed lords of the universe to perceive the environment with crystal clarity, far beyond the limits of the eyes. They began teleporting in succession. Each jump reached up to 10,000 light-years, and the consciousness of a lord of the universe allowed an extremely high teleportation frequency. More than 2 days passed at that intense pace. As they emerged from a spatial vortex, Luo Feng was shocked. Before them floated an enormous celestial body. The wall of the cosmic membrane stretched infinitely, but it was devastated. Hundreds of irregular holes and cracks cut through its structure, allowing the chaotic airflow to freely invade the interior. This is a reference small universe? Luo Feng asked, stunned. Yes, a small universe with an approximate diameter of 100 million light-years, confirmed the Chaos City leader while observing the ruined structure. A small universe that fell into ruins long ago. Dilapidated? Luo Feng repeated, still processing the sight. The strongest being of the universe who created it fell, and his small universe naturally collapsed, explained the teacher. When an immortal falls, his divine kingdom becomes barren and ruined. When the strongest being of the universe falls, his small universe follows the same fate. They approached the edge of an enormous crack. The passage measured more than 30,000 kilometers in height and hundreds of kilometers in width. The chaotic flow constantly slammed against the edges, causing the membrane to tremble. Inside, chaos reigned. Spatial debris, fragments of floating continents, gigantic drifting mountains, and even enormous shattered corpses. In the distance, entire pieces of the cosmic membrane wall collapsed, colliding and fragmenting the interior even further. The entire small universe was undergoing a slow and inexorable collapse. The Chaos City leader spoke in a solemn tone while contemplating the wreckage. The primitive universe is born, generates hundreds of millions of powerful beings, reaches its peak, declines, and destroys itself. Then a new cycle begins. Each reincarnation produces new races, geniuses, and a great number of lords of the universe and supreme beings. Each strongest being of the universe corresponds to one small universe. Those small universes float within the Universe Sea, drifting farther and farther away. Only in the region we explored, 18,022 ruined small universes have already been discovered. Luo Feng held his breath, absorbing the cosmic scale of the revelation. The teacher continued, "Consider our reincarnation as the third cosmic era. The previous one is the second era, and the one before that, the first cosmic era. Aside from the two sacred lands in the Universe Sea, the powers of the three cosmic eras survived. The other reincarnations were completely annihilated." 3 cosmic eras, Luo Feng repeated, deeply shaken. Yes, first, second, and our third cosmic era. Our third era is still in its multiplication phase, while the previous 2 completed their full cycles. Therefore, the number of powerful beings born within them far surpasses that of our era. The third era is the weakest. The first era is the strongest. Luo Feng understood the logic. At the beginning of a cycle, the development of secrets and laws is slower. With time, efficiency in creating experts increases. His era was still only halfway through. The Chaos City leader smiled lightly. "There is no need to be humble. Your ancestor crossed the universe and was absolutely invincible. All the strongest beings from other universes are out there." Luo Feng frowned. "Teacher, what exactly are the 2 sacred lands of the 3 cosmic eras?" With more than 10,000 discovered small universes, we know how many supreme beings once existed. But more than 90% of those small universes are ruined, meaning their creators fell. Beyond the three cosmic eras, there exist two other supreme forces, each connected to one small universe. Those two universes are extremely large, one with a diameter of 2.1 billion light-years, and another with 3.2 billion. They belong among the largest known, and the era of their origin is impossible to verify accurately. They survived countless reincarnations. The existence of those two sacred lands represented something extraordinary within the cosmic chaos. The Chaos City leader concluded gravely, "The three cosmic eras and the two sacred lands form the dominant forces of the infinite universe. However, no era is unified. Just as our third era is divided into 9 superpowers, 12 superior forces, and countless factions, the previous eras are also fragmented. The Universe Sea is extremely chaotic. Any force can suddenly be attacked by another that is not an ally." Luo Feng felt his heart grow heavy. The safe cradle of the primitive universe had been left behind. Here, upon the true cosmic stage, ancient eras, ruined small universes, and unknown ancestral powers painted a picture of danger, opportunity, and eternal struggle. What would be the role of the human race upon that colossal board? And what secrets did those sacred lands and past eras still hide? The Universe Sea had only just revealed its first dark and grand face. What else awaited Luo Feng within the depths of that chaotic ocean? Luo Feng and the Chaos City Lord continued their journey through the vast Universe Sea, teleporting at high frequency between natural wormholes and endless chaotic currents. The conversation about the cosmic forces weighed heavily in the air. The Chaos City Lord sighed deeply as they floated through the void, explaining the true hierarchy of the cosmos. The 3 eras of cosmic reincarnation can be divided into dozens of forces, totaling nearly 100. However, none of those nearly 100 forces compare to the 2 sacred lands. The teacher looked toward infinity. One against one, no power can rival them. Of course, if we combine an entire era of cosmic reincarnation, even the weakest side of our primitive universe surpasses any single sacred land. It is estimated that the 2 sacred lands together are comparable to the total power of our primitive universe. Luo Feng felt a deep shock run through his entire being. The complete power of the primitive universe? More than a dozen of the strongest beings in the universe, nearly 1,000 universe lords, including the 9 superpowers, 12 superior powers, and countless solitary masters. That colossal force could be matched by only 2 sacred lands? The scale of power left him speechless for a moment. "Do not be shocked," the Chaos City Lord continued in a calm but heavy voice. "The combined forces of the 2 sacred lands may not have as many universe lords as our primitive universe, but they have existed through an unknown number of reincarnations. Quantity is not their strength, but their quality is extremely high. At the very least, all of them dare to venture out and have mastered the strongest secret method." Luo Feng took a deep breath. The strongest secret method. The supreme attack technique he desired so intensely. In the Universe Sea, where ancient dangers lurked everywhere, that difference could mean the line between life and death. The Chaos City Lord extended his hand and materialized a transparent crystal sphere glowing with golden light. Recorded here are the powerful figures of the primitive universe, the second cosmic era, the first cosmic era, and the 2 sacred lands before the Great Destruction. These are extremely sophisticated materials collected by humanity across countless eras. Some involve confidential secrets. You may destroy them after reading. Luo Feng received the sphere with reverence. A strand of divine power penetrated the crystal, and an avalanche of information flooded his mind. As he absorbed the confidential data while floating inside that collapsing miniature universe, he felt the crushing weight of the true cosmos. When he opened his eyes, Luo Feng looked at the Chaos City Lord with a serious expression. "Do you feel the pressure?" the teacher asked with a faint smile. "Yes," Luo Feng replied, nodding repeatedly. That information revealed his true position. Even with the micro-universe, the killing Wu Yuyi wings, and the flaming sand cup, he was still extremely weak within the Universe Sea. His divine power was inferior, and he lacked a supreme attack secret method. In the sacred lands, existences with superior divine power and ultimate techniques could easily surpass him. The feeling of crisis was endless. "I originally intended to wait until you became a Universe Lord before bringing you here," the Chaos City Lord confessed. But although you still cannot fight equally against them, you are capable of saving your own life. Entering now will also be beneficial. They continued onward. Endless teleportations and natural wormholes marked the passing days. On the 6th day within the Universe Sea, the Chaos City Lord pointed ahead. That place is the dangerous region Zhensha River. Although it is smaller than the 3 Jedi, it still represents a fatal danger for you. Even I must explore it cautiously. Teleporting directly into it would be dangerous. Luo Feng nodded, recalling the descriptions from the map. Humanity already knew more than 3,000 dangerous regions, and the number continued to increase. On the 8th day, after another teleportation, they stopped. Luo Feng and the Chaos City Lord stood side by side in the void, staring toward the horizon. What they saw stole Luo Feng's breath away. An enormous mountain dominated the cosmos, the Qingfeng realm, one of the 3 Jedi. The main mountain had been sliced apart as if a supreme existence had cut away its peak. A colossal waterfall cascaded endlessly down the mountainside, generating currents that submerged vast regions. Countless fragments and rocks drifted around the summit. The scale was unimaginable. The main mountain stood approximately 98 million light-years tall, and the maximum diameter of the sliced summit exceeded 12 million light-years. The small stones that appeared like grains from hundreds of millions of light-years away were, in truth, colossal celestial bodies measured in light-years. This is the Qingfeng realm, the Chaos City Lord explained. The mountain summit where Qingfeng fell. Luo Feng was stunned. Inside the primitive universe, such a mountain would have been impossible. Yet here, within the Universe Sea, the cradle that had given birth to the primitive universe itself, such wonders existed. The outer domain carried moderate danger, but the inner region was deadly even for the strongest beings in the universe. They advanced and entered the outer area of Qingfeng. Massive celestial rocks flew at incredible speed, many times faster than light. What once appeared to be tiny stones now revealed their true size, nearly infinite in number, crossing the void like cosmic projectiles. The Chaos City Lord pointed toward a distant figure, a bird with enormous blood-red scaled wings, a strange beast radiating overwhelming power. That is one of the peak races from the first cosmic era, the Dove tribe. Upon recognizing the Chaos City Lord, the creature displayed visible fear and vanished instantly through teleportation. Luo Feng understood the difference. Races born before the Great Destruction possessed foundations and inheritances far deeper than those of the current primitive universe. After crossing several high-speed celestial rocks, they landed on one with a maximum diameter of roughly 8.2 light-years. There are countless celestial rocks within the outer domain of the Qingfeng realm, all moving at tremendous speed, the Chaos City Lord explained. However, when standing on one of them, the others appear relatively motionless. This rock served as a temporary gathering point for the human race. The giant axe creator was currently inside the Qingfeng realm, concentrating humanity's power within the Universe Sea there. They teleported a short distance toward a deep canyon on the surface of the rock, more than 1 million kilometers deep. At the bottom stood a temple. 2 figures were conversing outside. Upon seeing the Chaos City Lord and Luo Feng, they greeted them warmly. Chaos! Luo Feng immediately sensed 5 Universe Lords nearby, 3 from the human race and 2 from other Hongmeng races. 3 more figures emerged from the temple to welcome them, demonstrating the extremely high status of the Chaos City Lord. A gentle laugh echoed. Galactic Lord, welcome to the Qingfeng realm. Luo Feng had just arrived at the heart of humanity's power within the Universe Sea. The Qingfeng realm, one of the 3 Jedi, loomed above them like a colossal shadow. Inside the temple, carved into the celestial rock, 7 Universe Lords sat around a round table. The atmosphere was solemn and filled with anticipation. Lord Yuhu, wearing a welcoming smile, spoke first, directly addressing Luo Feng. As disciples from the same ancestral branch, one under the Dark Lord and the other under the Chaos City Lord, there was a natural closeness between them. Knowing that you were coming, all of us hurried back from different parts of the Qingfeng realm to receive you, Yuhu said with good humor. Luo Feng smiled and respectfully greeted each of them. Peng Gong Lord, Desolation Lord, Flint Lord, Mantis Lord, and the others. This was his first entry into the Universe Sea, and being welcomed by so many human Universe Lords demonstrated how significant his arrival truly was. Peng Gong Lord scratched his beard and commented with a smile. Some other Universe Lords are deeply immersed within the Qingfeng realm, or even inside the inner domain. To escape certain dangers, they must fly manually, which can take anywhere from 100 years to an entire era. That is why they could not come. Luo Feng nodded, understanding perfectly. Within the Universe Sea, especially near one of the three Jedi, blind teleportation was forbidden. A single mistake could result in instant death. Following the ancient rules for the first entry of a new universe lord into the cosmos, the Chaos City Lord smiled and waved his hand. Before each of the seven appeared a cup filled with precious wine. "Galactic Lord, I wish you infinite treasures and eternal life," toasted the Chaos City Lord, looking proudly at his disciple. "Infinite treasures, eternal life," echoed everyone present, including Luo Feng. That toast carried deep meaning. Entering the Universe Sea was a true adventure. Even possessing clones, the possibility of falling still existed. Even the strongest beings in the universe could perish there. The Universe Sea did not forgive carelessness. It was a place of extreme risk in exchange for equally monumental opportunities. Treasures capable of transforming the fate of an entire race. Flint Lord, known for his direct temperament and thunderous voice, went straight to the point. "Although your strength is sufficient to operate in the outer domain of the Qingfeng realm together with other universe lords, venturing alone in search of treasures would be extremely dangerous, especially if you encounter the most insane powers of the first cosmic era. They fight to the death without hesitation. Even with a clone, you would lose all the treasures of your main body, and your current treasures are not of low value." Luo Feng listened silently, maintaining a faint smile. He understood Flint Lord's intentions, but the words were harsh. Even so, he did not argue back. The truth was that he still needed to grow tremendously. The conversation shifted toward the desperate state of the powers from the first cosmic era. They faced the threat of total extinction. After surviving cycles of reincarnation, they knew their time was running out. That awareness made them extremely dangerous, willing to commit any madness to break their limits and survive. The two sacred lands were exceptions, having achieved what others could not. The Chaos City Lord reinforced the warning. Be especially careful with the powers of the First Era. And not only them. Avoid direct confrontations with any superior force. If you are in danger, immediately use the virtual universe system to request assistance. The Hongmeng will send reinforcements as quickly as possible. Luo Feng nodded, feeling slight dissatisfaction within himself. He knew he was still viewed as the weakest among those present, relying on treasures and his teacher's protection. But he accepted the advice humbly. The Universe Sea was not a place for foolish pride. Soon afterward, Yuhu Lord, Pengong Lord, Desolation Lord, Flint Lord, and Mantis Lord departed for their respective adventures within the Qingfeng realm. Along the way, Flint Lord and the others discussed matters openly. Flint did not hide his opinion. Luo Feng was still weak. The micro-universe was effective against groups of weaker enemies, but against true experts of the First Era or the Sacred Lands, it would be insufficient. His treasures were valuable, granted by the human race, but without overwhelming personal strength, he risked losing them. Alone with the Chaos City Lord inside the temple, Luo Feng received his teacher's farewell. "I must leave now. If you need anything, contact me through the virtual universe." After his teacher teleported away, Luo Feng remained alone. He looked toward the empty temple and felt the weight of cosmic solitude. The powers wandering through the Universe Sea truly tempered themselves through constant danger and hardship. He stepped onto the surface of the celestial rock, sat cross-legged in his armor with his silver wings spread behind him, and immersed himself in the deep study of information regarding the Qingfeng realm and the powerful cosmic forces. The gigantic rock moved several times faster than light, yet Luo Feng remained motionless, absorbing every critical detail. Suddenly, he pulled out a communication token. It was a highest-level symbol capable of functioning inside the Universe Sea. Luo Feng's consciousness entered it. The message came from Master Zuoshanka. "Luo Feng, are you inside the Universe Sea?" "Yes." "Which of the three Jedi?" "The Qingfeng realm." Zuoshanka advised that it was the correct choice. The greatest treasures were born within the three Jedi, attracting the greatest powers. Remaining in remote regions would bring greater danger and fewer opportunities. He offered assistance if necessary, though he hoped Luo Feng would not need it. Far away, deep within the chaotic, dangerous land known as the Northern China Snowland, a solitary palace radiated cold blue light. Cosmic servants wandered silently. There resided Zuoshanka's true body, a place none of the nearly 100 forces of the Universe Sea dared provoke. Inside the main hall, seated upon a colossal throne, the majestic Zuoshanka, a being over 90,000 kilometers tall, conversed with his disciple Puti. Possessing a human body and a snake tail, Puti waited respectfully. "Ha ha, Puti, your little third junior brother has also entered the Universe Sea," Zushanka's voice rumbled. Puti congratulated his teacher, but Zushanka spoke honestly. Luo Feng possessed the greatest potential among the three disciples, followed by the second brother, while Puti possessed the weakest potential. However, Puti was currently the strongest of the three because of his relentless diligence and the long time spent beside the master. "I will give you the same opportunity I gave your second and third junior brothers," declared Zushanka. In his hand appeared a strange piece of divine cayenne wood. "This divine wood treasure has remained in my possession for an endless era. To me, it is merely a collection item. In your hands, it should display sufficient power." Puti's body trembled slightly. He had waited for this opportunity for a very long time. Bowing deeply, his voice overflowed with absolute faith. This disciple will do everything possible not to disappoint the teacher. After Puti departed, Zuoshenki looked beyond the temple gates, his vision piercing through the endless chaotic currents toward the distant Qingfeng realm. His voice echoed softly, filled with expectation. "I have waited for a very, very long time." The Universe Sea had just gained another ambitious player. With Puti receiving his opportunity and Luo Feng beginning his solitary journey within the outer domain of Qingfeng, the pieces of the grand cosmic game were beginning to move. Luo Feng remained standing upon the surface of a colossal celestial rock, a tiny figure like a grain of dust before the unimaginable magnitude of the Qingfeng realm. In the distance, the main mountain peak rose infinitely high, sliced apart as though struck by a supreme existence, while a waterfall of cosmic proportions plunged endlessly downward, generating waves and currents that filled vast regions. Enormous celestial rocks flew around him at high speed, forcing away the chaotic air currents and creating a spectacle of primordial power. Qingfeng realm. Luo Feng's eyes shone with sharp determination. From that moment onward, his true invasion of the Universe Sea had begun. Without hesitation, he vanished from the rock and, through precise teleportation, plunged directly into the endless waters formed by the impact of the colossal waterfall. The outer domain of the slanted peak was divided into two primary regions: the aerial space, where celestial rocks flew with relatively low danger, and the water region, the true focus of Universe Lord explorations. Those waters formed by the eternal waterfall flooded most of the main mountain. They were turbulent, unpredictable, and filled with crushing pressure. In many places, not even a Universe Lord dared teleport, needing to fly with extreme caution instead. Only after inspecting an area with domain treasures and confirming relative safety could one risk teleportation. Luo Feng hovered in the sky, observing the endless waters below. That liquid mass possessed a diameter of hundreds of millions of light-years, larger than an entire human universe, larger even than the ancestral mystery itself. The most common and terrifying danger here are the water flow spirits, he thought. Those entities possessed neither wisdom nor consciousness, only pure instinct. Once approached, they attacked mercilessly. With assistance from the surrounding waters, each water flow spirit possessed power comparable to a Universe Lord. Luo Feng descended cautiously, diving into the waters and feeling the impact of the waves. Ordinary immortals would be annihilated instantly, but those waters were extraordinary. Every drop carried stellar force, and the currents contained devastating impact, though Universe Lords could resist them. Within the depths of the waters, treasures appeared amid constant danger. Obtaining one required luck, absolute strength, and unshakable courage. Luo Feng advanced slowly, exploring the shallowest regions with extreme vigilance. Hundreds of millions of light-years away, within much deeper waters, Flint Lord flew slowly. Faint flames surrounded his body as he navigated between submerged mountains and rocks rolling beneath terrifying pressure. Even cosmic venerables would be reduced to dust there. He reflected with a certain indignation about Luo Feng's arrival in the Universe Sea. The human race was clearly investing heavily in the tempering of the young genius, granting him valuable treasures. Other races within the Hongmeng did not receive the same treatment. "If you do not take risks, how can you obtain high-level treasures?" Flint muttered. He acknowledged Luo Feng's monstrous potential, an incomparable genius, but still viewed him as someone at the bottom of the abyss. He compared him to the Lord of Eagles from the monster race, who had also been tempered early within the Universe Sea and had received massive support. After countless rescues and dangers, the Lord of Eagles had become the most powerful universe lord of his race. Suddenly, the space around Flint Lord froze. The spatial fluctuations vanished completely. A total spatial blockade. His heart tightened. Far away, a bright point of light rapidly approached. Ha ha ha! Flint Lord of the human alliance of the primitive universe? The laughter sliced through the waters like a blade. The point of light revealed itself as a humanoid creature wrapped in luminous white mist, with circles of light behind its head and a massive phantom single eye floating above it. It was Ernst and Young Lord of the Divine Eye race, one of the most terrifying peak races of the first cosmic era, possessing 7 of the strongest beings in the universe. Divine Eyes! Flint Lord instantly transformed into a flaming serpent and fled in desperation. The Divine Eye race was mysterious and terrifying, favored by unique evolutionary accidents. Facing them alone meant almost certain death. Ernst and Young Lord did not hesitate. Countless grains of white sand materialized from nowhere, forming the ice and sand sea that flooded a radius of 3 light years. With space already sealed, escape became desperate. The ice and sand sea! Flint gritted his teeth as flames burst from his nostrils. Master Ernst and Young, I do not possess great treasures. Why pursue me? Life is limited. Eternity is difficult to find. The luminous figure replied in a calm and merciless voice. Finding the eternal path through endless deaths is my only chance now. Flint Lord, it is better for you to die. The pursuit became ferocious. Flint Lord roared, trying to delay the enemy as much as possible, while his avatar inside the primitive universe sent an urgent request for help through the virtual universe. This time, I was the one who asked for help first, he thought bitterly. Facing a madman from the first cosmic era was a nightmare. The distress request was instantly transmitted to all masters of the human alliance inside the Universe Sea. Beast Lord, who was within the waters more than 1,000,000 light years away, reacted gravely. This is a major problem. I am not very useful, but I will try to help. He flew out from the waters and began a rapid sequence of teleportations. Luo Feng, still exploring the shallow waters, also received the alert. Despite his slight dissatisfaction with Flint Lord's harsh words during the meeting, he did not hesitate. Ernst and Young Lord is not easy to provoke. He immediately emerged from the waters and initiated a rapid chain of teleportations, rushing toward the battle site more than 3,000,000 light years away. The situation was critical. A universe lord of humanity was being hunted by an ancient power of the first cosmic era, willing to do anything for a chance at eternity. The difference in strength, experience, and madness was obvious. The Universe Sea tested its explorers without mercy. Luo Feng, still at the beginning of his journey, found himself forced to intervene in a high-risk confrontation. What would happen when he arrived? Could Flint Lord endure long enough? And how would Luo Feng's presence, with his micro-universe, killing Wu Yuyi wings, and flaming sand cup, influence the outcome of that desperate battle within the turbulent depths of the Qingfeng realm? The Universe Sea gave no mercy. Every decision, every movement carried the weight of life or death and the future of the entire human race. In the murky and treacherous depths of the waters of the Qingfeng realm, a fierce and relentless battle unfolded. 2 imposing figures collided with cosmic fury, each strike capable of shaking space and distorting the surrounding time. On one side stood the Lord of Ernst and Young, a terrifying existence from the first universe era, firmly gripping his golden scepter. This treasure was not an ordinary weapon. It transformed fluidly, at times a long staff that pierced the void, at times a heavy hammer that crushed everything in its path. Every secret technique applied was at the highest possible level, executed with deadly precision and insane ferocity. Please remember that all synopses and recaps posted by the Danzai Donghua channel are based on the novel and not on the ongoing Donghua anime. That is why it may seem strange to some people, but in the end, our hero Luo Feng will receive the same blessed destiny granted by the laws of the universe origin. On the other side, the Lord of Flint, one of the pinnacles of the human alliance of the primordial universe, fought with growing desperation. His roars echoed filled with pain and rage. Madman, this first-era lunatic is a demon among demons. He tried his best to prolong the distance between clashes, using the environment of the sea of ice and sand to hinder the pursuit. However, his speed was clearly inferior there. The terrain favored the opponent, and the Lord of Ernst and Young reached him repeatedly, without mercy. The golden scepter shone with overwhelming power. With a smooth movement, the calm and cold voice of the Lord of Ernst and Young cut through the chaos. Flint of the human alliance of the primordial universe, fall with peace of mind and become my sacrifice on the path to eternity. The scepter extended, piercing space as if tearing apart the very fabric of the universe. The oval tip, similar to the mouth of a gourd, carried an immeasurable destructive force. Cutting through the air, the strike hit directly into the chest of the Lord of Flint. Without an arcane weapon to completely block it, the full power penetrated his defense. The armor trembled violently. The divine body of the Lord of Flint cracked, and he was thrown backward like a leaf in the wind, coughing cosmic blood. Before he could even recover, his longship was also destroyed by the previous impact. A counterattack came in the form of a whip, striking the Lord of Ernst and Young. The impact shook his divine body, but he recovered almost instantly and continued advancing without hesitation, like a tireless killing machine. The Lord of Flint felt deep frustration. In terms of pure strength, he stood at the pinnacle of the lords of the universe, comparable to Emperor Yan. His great axe was extremely powerful. However, the Lord of Ernst and Young possessed superior treasures, a slightly stronger divine body, and above all, a tactical madness that placed him on a higher level, equivalent to the Ice Peak Master of humanity. The difference was one level, but the fighting style of replacing injury with injury made everything deadly. While the Lord of Flint tried to block with the axe, the opponent's scepter changed form unpredictably. Hammer, staff, spear. Every transition was accompanied by the strongest secret methods, impossible to predict. Exchanging injury for injury required absolute confidence in one's own defense and the size of the divine body. The Lord of Ernst and Young had exactly that. A peak armor that weakened attacks down to 100,000th, a life gene level close to 10,000 times, and more importantly, a plant life clone millions of kilometers long that allowed constant replenishment of divine energy. He could afford to fight in a suicidal manner. The Lord of Flint, even with his 100,000-kilometer special life divine body, saw his vitality melting rapidly. 42%, 37%, 31%. With every exchange, the consumption was 100 times faster for him. Desperation grew. Outside the danger zone, the Lord of the Beetles watched helplessly. Flint, I cannot enter the sea of ice and sand to help you. I can only rely on you, Lord of the Beetles. For an instant, hope shone in the eyes of the Lord of Flint, but soon faded. The distance was too great. Teleportation was impossible in that area, and flying would take precious time. Not even an ally of the same level could change fate in time. The Lord of Ernst and Young smiled coldly, scepter in hand. No one can save you. Your divine body is already below 50%. 10 more strikes, and you will perish. He advanced like a predator. Suddenly, a figure appeared from nowhere beside the Lord of the Beetles. Black hair, shining silver armor. It was Luo Feng. Luo Feng? The Lord of the Beetles was surprised, but quickly warned, do not act recklessly. The Lord of Flint is being hunted. Only Peng Gong and the Lord of Chaos could help him now. If you enter, you will also fall into danger. Luo Feng replied calmly and with determination. I may not be a match for him, but I am not afraid either. At the center of the sea of ice and sand, the Lord of Flint fought his final battle. His divine body was already at a mere 20%. His resistance had fallen drastically. The smile of the Lord of Ernst and Young widened as he prepared the fatal strike. Then it happened. A nebulous and infinite golden light exploded within the murky waters. Along with it, violent golden flames erupted like a cosmic tidal wave. The Golden Kingdom overlapped with the desperate Wu Yu Wing and the flaming sand cup, crushing the ice and sand in an explosion of destructive power. The infinite flames engulfed the area, melting the swamp that trapped the Lord of Flint. His speed, previously extremely slow, was restored and even amplified. The flames now pushed him, helping him escape. Lord of Flint, do not leave yet, the familiar voice echoed. The Lord of Flint immediately recognized it. It was Luo Feng, the same human he had scolded before. Surprise and gratitude mixed within his chest as he fled desperately. On the other side, the expression of the Lord of Ernst and Young changed drastically. Who is it? His furious roar shook space. His speed fell into an abyss. The golden domain controlled time and space in an overwhelming manner, completely favoring the ally and hindering the enemy. This is the flaming sand cup of Lord Yuan of the primordial universe. This golden domain controls time and space. Who are you? He roared furiously, but was unable to stop the escape. Luo Feng internally explained the crucial difference. Treasures and secret methods possess low and high limits of divine power consumption. The greater the strength of the user, the greater the released power and the lower the relative cost. His microcosm and the Golden Kingdom, driven by his evolution, now operated on levels that were previously impossible. The Lord of Flint teleported to the shallow waters beside Luo Feng and the Lord of the Beetles. Embarrassed, he began to speak. Luo Feng, we will talk later, Luo Feng interrupted, his face serious. Because at a short distance away, a humanoid figure shining with faint white light materialized. A white halo behind the head and the shadow of a single eye, the Lord of Ernst & Young had arrived, eyes burning with pure rage. Human? I have never seen you, he growled. Luo Feng stared directly at him, the silver wings slightly opened. You will know me from now on. In an instant, Luo Feng and the two allies teleported out of the waters, fleeing far away. The frenzied roar of the Lord of Ernst & Young echoed behind them. Humans, silver-winged and black-haired human. Luo Feng's intervention had turned the tide. A rising Lord of the Universe, with supreme domain and powerful treasures, showed that even against a maniac veteran of the First Era, the courage and growing power of humanity could change destinies. The balance of forces within the Qingfeng realm was beginning to tilt in unpredictable ways, with deep political implications for all cosmic races. In the shallow waters of the Qingfeng realm, the Lord of Ernst & Young remained motionless, his imposing silhouette cutting through the murky mist. Behind his head, the phantom of a single eye shone with a cold and terrifying light, transmitting a feeling of absolute vigilance and ancient power. His thoughts spun rapidly while analyzing the recent confrontation. Silver-winged and black-haired human. He came to save the Lord of Flint together with the Lord of the Beetles. They clearly belonged to the humanity of the primordial universe. The Lord of Ernst & Young reflected on the three cosmic eras. In the first and third eras, the human races stood among the peak forces. Only in the second era was humanity relatively weaker, although it had still produced some of the strongest beings in the universe. He considered the possibility of a pinnacle group within the primordial universe, but recognized that the number of supreme existences reincarnated from previous eras was much greater. I have never seen him before. My Divine Eyes database also does not record anyone with that description and that level of power. He must be a newly promoted one. His thoughts deepened regarding the flaming sand cup used by Luo Feng. The last time Lord Yuan Ao appeared, he still possessed this treasure. How did it end up in the hands of this human? Could it be that Lord Yuan Ao is dead? Disturbing doubts accumulated in his mind, revealing the complex webs of power and treasure inheritance within the cosmos. Inside one of the small universes of the Divine Eyes race, the incarnation of the Lord of Ernst & Young emerged from a beautiful translucent palace bathed in white light. He raised his gaze toward the ethereal sky and respectfully reported, "Seventh Allah, the humanity of the primordial universe has produced a new Lord of the universe. I was about to kill the Lord of Flint when I was interrupted by a black-haired man with silver wings. I would like to obtain information about him." The powerful voice of the seventh Allah echoed from the sky. "Is he better than you?" "No, he is naturally far inferior to me," replied the Lord of Ernst & Young confidently. "However, he possesses the flaming sand cup and special treasures that control time and space, suppressing my sea of ice and sand. Furthermore, it was 3 against 1. Even if I continued the battle, it would be difficult to obtain a decisive result. Therefore, I watched them leave." He explained that he could have immediately used spatial blockade, but chose prudence in the face of the numerical advantage and the opponent's domains. The celestial voice responded after a moment. "Wait, I will make contact to investigate." Information transactions were common among the nearly 100 forces of the universe. Alliances, treasure exchanges, and secrets flowed wherever there was mutual benefit. The Divine Eyes race, as a superforce of the First Era, possessed countless favors and contacts. Soon the information arrived. Silver wings and black hair. He is the new Lord of the universe of primitive cosmic humanity, Galaxy Lord Luo Feng. His overall strength is average. In terms of material attack, he is comparable to the Lord of Banff. The only strongest secret method known belongs to a similar mini-chaos world. The Lord of Ernst & Young smiled coldly. "Oh, just a new boy? The Lord of Banff is proficient in soul attacks but weak in material attacks. It seems this young man is also quite limited. The voice continued. The lords of the universe are divided into 6 levels. He should belong to the 2nd level. In the first universe era, the classification was precise. The first level included newly promoted ones with 100 times life gene level, without ultimate secret methods and with ordinary treasures. The 2nd level represented the normal level, 1,000 times life gene, created ultimate secret method and decent treasures. The 3rd was the peak level, such as Emperor Yan and the Lord of Flint. The 4th, higher level, housed existences such as the Ice Peak Master and the Lord of Ernst and Young himself. The 5th involved the most exceptional ones, capable of creating supreme fusion secret methods or obtaining strange treasures. The 6th level, rare in the primordial universe, belonged to possessors of Xeon's supreme treasure, only a 2nd level. The Lord of Ernst and Young mocked internally. His own strength stood firmly at the 4th level, with a divine body of plant life clone, a life gene close to 10,000 times, peak armor capable of weakening attacks by 100,000th, and the ability to replace injury with injury while constantly replenishing himself. He was extremely difficult to kill. Even Luo Feng, after becoming a lord of the universe, would need much more to match him. Peak domain treasures are truly rare, he thought. My Divine Eyes clan possesses nearly 100 lords of the universe. The best treasures have already been distributed to the strongest ones. If I obtain one, this human galaxy lord will be dead. He silently awaited a future opportunity. This is our first meeting. In the future, there will be more chances. Meanwhile, within the void of Qingfeng's outer domain, 3 majestic figures hovered above floating celestial rocks in the sky. The Lord of Flint looked at Luo Feng with deep gratitude. Lord of Flint, you do not need to, Luo Feng began. My life was saved by you. This saving grace is the greatest, interrupted the Lord of Flint, raising his head with determination. My previous promise was only to repay you. You do not need to be humble. In the future, if you need anything, inform me. No matter what I am doing, I will go immediately. Luo Feng smiled internally. The character of the Lord of Flint was stubborn like a rock. Once he made a promise, he never went back on it, regardless of how high Luo Feng might ascend. Luo Feng expressed his curiosity. Lord of Flint, you had no way to deal with that danger? The Lord of Flint sighed, explaining his rescue methods. Even against the strongest beings of the universe, he could resist for a long time using a supreme weapon to block most of the power, followed by divine armor. However, the unpredictable style of the Lord of Ernst and Young, instantly changing between multiple strongest secret methods, perfectly restricted him. My divine body is also very strong, but his is superior, and his ability to exchange injuries is devastating. He acknowledged that there were few in the universe capable of combining so many unpredictable secret methods with a superior divine body. This time I suffered a defeat, but I also made a decision, he declared. My divine body lost too much, and it will take time to recover. During this period, I will dedicate myself to studying shield defense methods. As a special life stone, I am not naturally flexible. Creating a fighting style with a shield in one hand and a spear in the other will be much safer. The Lord of the Beetles and Luo Feng agreed. Special lives like his required adapted styles. Lord Yuan Ao, for example, also used a shield because of his immense size. Humans, being more flexible, could block quickly with a sword. I am very confident, Luo Feng. Your great kindness, I, Flint, will never forget. Tell me if you need anything. With those words, the Lord of Flint bid farewell to the Lord of the Beetles and departed through teleportation, promising to return better prepared. Luo Feng reflected silently. Although my armor defense is 10 times stronger than the Lord of Flint's, his divine power is dozens of times greater. Combined, his defense is superior, and his divine body is slightly larger. Fortunately, his flexibility and treasures, such as the Wu Yu Wingslayer and the Flaming Sand Cup, gave him options both to fight and to escape. I need to improve myself. My current weakness lies in my secret attack methods. Still only the ultimate secret method. After separating from the Lord of the Beetles, Luo Feng continued wandering through Qingfeng's outer domains. Time passed. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. He occasionally encountered foreign experts, but relying on his domain treasures, he did not face real dangers. The true pinnacles and strongest beings of the universe concentrated within the inner domain. The news of the new Lord of the universe of primitive cosmic humanity, Luo Feng, gradually began spreading among the powers of the other cosmic eras. They recognized his moderate strength, but noticed his potential and the special treasures he carried. This silent rise carried deep political implications. The humanity of the primordial universe gained more visibility and respect, subtly altering the balance of power between the ancient races and the new forces. The Lord of Ernst and Young and the powerful Divine Eyes race now had a new name in their sights, while Luo Feng, aware of his limitations, continued his path of constant evolution toward higher levels. The cosmos watched. New rivalries formed, and ancient tensions renewed themselves. In the blink of an eye, 16 years had passed since Luo Feng entered the Universe Sea. In the murky depths of the waters of the Qingfeng border, he remained leaning against an enormous celestial rock, his divine body thousands of kilometers tall, observing the endless flow of white currents in the distance. White lines floated and danced within the water, forming figures resembling humans or strange beasts, the shui liuling, instinctive creatures attracted to their own kind, playing and emitting piercing high-frequency cries while freely wandering through the depths. The celestial rocks there were monumental, each one comparable to an entire mountain range. Depressions formed vast canyons, elevated peaks rose like imposing mountains, and flat surfaces stretched like infinite plains. For Luo Feng, whose divine scale allowed him to see all of this clearly, the environment transmitted an overwhelming cosmic grandeur, at the same time peaceful and filled with hidden dangers. I have been in Qingfeng for 16 years, and still have not found any treasure, thought Luo Feng, a mixture of patience and slight frustration passing through his mind. However, there was satisfaction in his gaze. More than 100 intense confrontations during this period had greatly pushed his progress on the beast god path. These battles were not against allies of the primordial universe, but against powerful beings from the first and second cosmic eras. The relative weakness of humanity from the third era caused the 9 main forces and the 12 superior forces of the primordial universe to rarely fight each other, unless treasures were involved. In the previous eras, however, a simple encounter could mean immediate death. Every battle brought new inspirations. Unprecedented combat styles and innovative applications of the laws of the universe made Luo Feng's eyes shine. Through analogy and deep understanding, his advancement on the beast god path was dozens of times faster than if he had isolated himself within the primordial universe. Even in the secret pattern genre, he felt constant progress. Still, a shadow of dissatisfaction remained. What a pity. I could not create the strongest secret method. The third layer of the star tower still feels distant. Luo Feng knew well the nature of the Qingfeng realm. Most of the time was calm exploration, but when an opportunity appeared, desperation and fury took over everyone. Transforming into an agile serpent, he flew silently, resuming his slow and methodical exploration. The aquatic area was immense. Countless powerful beings from the 3 cosmic eras had spent entire eras without mapping everything. At another point within the void, the Lord of Ernst and Young floated, the phantom of a single eye shining behind his head. He shook his head, sighing with deep reluctance. Last time, I followed the Lord of Flint in silence. When I approached, I immediately released the domain treasure and blocked space. That Stone Lord was so stupid. I could have killed him easily. Everything ruined by that human from the primordial universe, Luo Feng. The regret was palpable. Killing the Lord of Flint would have yielded countless treasures, perhaps allowing an exchange for a coveted peak domain treasure. Beside him, another strong member of the Divine Eyes race, marked by the same circle of light with the Phantom Eye, spoke briefly. Ernst and Young, did you obtain anything in the inner realm this time? Asked the companion. The inner zone is extremely dangerous. I remained only in safer areas, already searched long ago. I fought more than 10 times, but when I pushed an opponent into desperation, he directly invaded a dangerous zone. I did not dare pursue, Ernst and Young replied with resignation. I gained nothing. They exchanged impressions regarding the risks of the shallow waters versus the interior, where treasures could appear but death was constant. After the short conversation, they separated, each following their solitary exploration, as was common among long-lived strong beings. 2 years passed in an instant. The Lord of Jiayu, with a handsome face and a body emitting nebulous white light, calmly flew through the bottom of the waters. Behind his head, the circle of light with the shadow of the eye revealed his origin from the Divine Eyes race. As a being with infinite longevity, he explored without impatience, passing through peaks and valleys formed by the natural rocks. Ordinary caves could hide valuable treasures, Suddenly, a very weak energy fluctuation caught his attention. His eyes lit up, his aura instantly changing to maximum alert. He advanced slowly, sweeping the place with divine power, suppressing the growing excitement while following the winding caves. Almost 6 hours later, after turning a corner, a light appeared in the distance. Treasures. Great treasures. A curtain of light blocked the path, exhaling extremely weak energy fluctuations. The strangest thing, his divine power had not detected it before. Experienced, Jiayu recognized the phenomenon. Light curtains like this indicated extremely powerful treasures, often accompanied by dangers or special locations. Be careful, he thought. With a gesture, he summoned a blue sphere that expanded to tens of thousands of kilometers, a superior-level palace treasure. Even the strongest beings in the universe would not kill me easily inside it. Excited like never before, because he rarely monopolized such an opportunity, Jiayu entered the palace and advanced. The curtain of light offered no resistance, like crossing a layer of water. Behind it, another curtain, and another, 9 layers in total. Jiayu's excitement grew with every penetration. It must be a great treasure. My luck is also good. The moment he crossed the 9th curtain, everything changed drastically. An unimaginable danger swallowed him. Jiayu barely had time to feel horror before his consciousness was erased. Inside one of the 7 small universes of the Divine Eyes race, the incarnation of the Lord of Jiayu, still carrying the excitement of the discovery, suddenly showed absolute terror. Then it was completely annihilated. The third Allah, owner of that mini-universe, immediately detected the fall. Jiayu has fallen! The sigh reverberated throughout the small universe. On the highest continent, incarnations of more than a dozen lords of the universe instantly appeared, anxious and alarmed. How could the Lord of Jiayu fall? Who killed him? How did he die? The voice of the third Allah echoed from the sky. Jiayu fell instantly. His avatar had no time to leave a detailed message. He must not have perceived the danger beforehand. When he realized it, it was already too late. The news shocked everyone. Jiayu was a 4th-level Lord of the Universe, a higher-level existence. Even against the strongest beings of the universe, he would have had a chance to resist and ask for help. Such a sudden fall was rare and terrifying for the entire clan. The information quickly spread among the upper ranks of the Divine Eyes race. He was exploring the waters. The danger came from there. A danger in the waters capable of instantly killing a being of his level. That place is unusual. Orders were urgently issued. According to the latest coordinates, in the area of reference system 193293 in the waters of the Qingfeng realm, 3 universe masters of our race, An Yangji, the master of the makeup matrix, and the master of Suihu, must immediately go investigate. Extreme caution with strange places. Do not enter directly. The Lord of Ernst and Young, together with the others, answered affirmatively and teleported into the void of the Qingfeng realm, diving into the waters toward the mysterious area. Jiayu's fall sent waves of alarm throughout the powerful Divine Eyes race, one of the peak forces of the First Era. A treasure capable of such a deadly trap could change balances of power, attracting more hunters and increasing cosmic tensions within the Qingfeng realm. Meanwhile, Luo Feng continued his patient exploration, unaware of the new danger approaching. The Universe Sea never slept. Every discovery could mean ascension or annihilation, and the political implications between the cosmic eras became increasingly complex as ancient secrets were unearthed. What awaited in the depths of that cave? What mysterious force had claimed the life of an elite Lord of the Universe without giving him a chance to react? What will come next in the journey of this galaxy lord who challenges every limit? The universe is waiting, and Luo Feng's legend is only just beginning. In the vast and treacherous waters of the Qingfeng realm, one of the 3 great Jedi realms of the universe, danger lurked within every shadow of the depths. Lord Jiayu, a powerful universe master of the Divine Eye race, had fallen. His death was sudden, without even enough time to send a final message. The event shook the mighty tribe, because even within the inner region of World Peak, a place already known for its dangers, something terrible had swallowed him without leaving traces. 3 imposing figures, surrounded by a misty white aura radiating overwhelming divine power, floated above the turbulent waters. Gigantic celestial rocks flew around at speeds multiple times faster than light, twisting like living dragons. One of them, with divine eyes shining with concern, broke the silence. When Jiayu died, he had no time to leave any message. What terrifying danger did he encounter? Even in the inner region of World Peak, it is already too late to save him. The places where information is lost are few, but the core of Qingfeng realm is one of them. The others agreed, the weight of the mission pressing on their shoulders. They would follow the orders of the first Allah. Any dangerous point would be investigated immediately. They separated, each responsible for 1/3 of the vast area, diving into the endless waters to begin the search. The waters of Qingfeng realm were immense, home to countless instinctive creatures such as the Shui Liuling, beings dangerous enough that even ancient forces did not dare explore everything. Over time, the very structure of the waters changed, making any mapping an enormous task. 6 days later, the three universe masters met again. No sign, no clue. Frustration was visible in their eyes. One of them, the Lord of Ernst & Young, analyzed the situation coldly. An area reference frame is enormous. We are searching for something like a domain treasure, but the detection radius of a few light years at a time may not be enough. The treasure land may be influenced by the entire Qingfeng realm, invisible to ordinary domains. Exploring in detail would be madness. Flying a distance of 1 light year was already time-consuming, but investigating every cave, canyon, submerged peak, vegetation, and crack? A straight line of 1 light year could take 10,000 eras. A complete cubic volume? 100 million epochs would not be enough. Detailed exploration was impossible. They could only perform brief searches and report back. The first Allah, however, did not accept failure so easily. He ordered them to explore another 100 reference frames around the area where Jiayu fell. Years passed. The three warriors obeyed, searching tirelessly. They found a high-level supreme weapon hidden inside a deep canyon and investigated 2 strange points that even attracted the personal attention of the 6th Allah of the divine eye race. Nothing. No trace of Jiayu. The tribe investigated for a long time. They checked the most likely areas, verified whether Jiayu's personal treasure had appeared in the hands of foreign powers, and the 6th Allah inspected personally. In the end, they had to admit it. There was no result. The divine eye race did not easily abandon one of their own, but this time the emptiness was absolute. The lords dispersed. The Lord of Sui Hu and the Lord of the Makeup Line departed. Only the Lord of Ernst & Young remained, determined. Years before the fall, he had met Jiayu, who seemed to have obtained something within the waters. There was a 90% chance the place of death was there. He would continue carefully exploring reference frame 193293. Meanwhile, in another part of Qingfeng realm, Luo Feng flew through the sky, contemplating the terrifying majesty of the main mountain of Qingfeng world. He had already spent 30 years there, and still had not encountered real dangers threatening his life. The immense waterfall descending from the mountain was tens of millions of light years tall. Every drop was equivalent to a star. The constant impact was so colossal that if concentrated at a single point, it could annihilate even the strongest being in the universe. Spread out, however, it continuously transformed the vast waters below. I will take a closer look at the main mountain, Luo Feng thought. As long as I do not enter it, the danger should not be great. He teleported several times, rapidly approaching. The colossal mountain covered the horizon like an ocean of stone, ancient and imposing. Suddenly, Luo Feng stopped in the air, frowning. Behind him, the wings of Wu Yuyi began to tremble. My Wu Yuyi? The trembling increased. A weak but unmistakable attraction pulled the wings like magnets. The call comes from the depths of the waters. Luo Feng felt his heart accelerate. He was not inexperienced with this. Years ago, the rippling wings of Venerable Tianyang had attracted his own wings with terrifying force. This one was weaker, but still clear. Could it be the third pair of wings? Excitement grew inside him. He descended 10 light years. The attraction strengthened. The wings trembled even more intensely. Luo Feng dove into the shallow waters, immediately activating his golden kingdom. A nebulous golden light spread across a radius of 10 light years, protecting him while he advanced. In the dangerous depths, long-distance teleportation was risky. He proceeded in short jumps, guided by the strong familiar call. It must be another part of Wu Yuyi. Luo Feng laughed internally, filled with excitement. I knew other components existed. After fusing the wings of Venerable Tianyang and transforming my Wu Yuyi into 4 wings, I discovered the third layer of secret patterns was incomplete. Now I understand why. He never imagined he would be so close within Qingfeng realm itself. Fortune smiled upon him. Flying at high speed, he arrived at the entrance of a deep and twisted cave. The call came from within. Advancing with extreme caution, the wings behind him trembled wildly. Luo Feng needed to use his divine power to suppress them, preventing them from flying away on their own. This attraction is even stronger than the last time with Venerable Tian Yang. Could it be that my Wu Yuyi are more complete and therefore feel it more intensely? He pondered while continuing forward. After more than 3 hours of careful advance, a curtain of bright light appeared in the distance. Luo Feng stopped, frowning. Something was wrong. If it were an ownerless part, it should fly toward him spontaneously. If it had an owner, that person would also sense the call and come investigate. Furthermore, light curtains were rare, usually signs of special treasures or strange phenomena within Qingfeng realm. Ordinary treasures did not create such scenes. Very suspicious. Despite the anxiety burning in his chest, the chance to complete the supreme wings was there. Luo Feng remained calm. Qingfeng realm was famous for devouring even the strongest beings. He would not risk the main body. Let the Demon Killer Clan avatar go first. With determination, the Black Demon Killer Clan avatar flew directly toward the curtain of light. The moment it touched it, it passed through easily, disappearing into the mysterious interior. The tension in the air was palpable. Luo Feng watched carefully, ready for any reaction. The implications were enormous. If he obtained the third pair, his Wu Yuyi wings would evolve once again, drastically increasing his flight, defense, and attack power. Across the vast universe, while races such as the Divine Eye race desperately searched for traces of their fallen, Luo Feng alone followed a path of opportunities capable of changing his cosmic destiny. The attraction of the wings was not merely a material call, it was the call of destiny, guiding the young human warrior deeper into the dangerous waters of Qingfeng, where ancient secrets and unimaginable dangers awaited. Within the unfathomable depths of Qingfeng realm, one of the 3 great Jedi realms of the universe, where danger transcended ordinary understanding, even for the strongest beings, Luo Feng continued his cautious exploration. After decades navigating the treacherous waters, he had learned a valuable lesson. Never risk the main body when uncertainty lingered in the air. For that reason, the Demon Killer Clan avatar was the perfect explorer. With a small body, limited divine power, and no valuable treasures, its loss would be insignificant. The golden-horned beast clone and the divine body of the earth deity could recover any expenditure instantly. With determination, the black avatar advanced, passing through the first curtain of light glowing mysteriously at the end of the twisted cave. There was no physical resistance. The curtain did not block the intruder, but completely nullified any exploration through domain or divine power. It was like entering a domain where ordinary senses were blinded. The avatar looked ahead and stopped, confused. Another curtain of light appeared directly ahead. 2 layers. In one of the most terrifying places in the universe, special scenes like this only appeared in extremely rare areas connected to the birth of supreme treasures. The avatar continued forward, passing through the second one. Then came the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth. The shock grew with every layer. When it reached the 9th curtain of light, the Demon Killer Clan avatar was completely stunned. Information provided by the human race about Qingfeng realm, Luzhong Mountain, and the spaceship mentioned grand scenes of precious treasures being born. Records of light curtains were rare, only 12 in total. 3 of them were related to truly powerful treasures, always with a maximum of 3 layers. 9 layers? That surpassed every known record. Luo Feng, observing through the avatar, felt his heart beat faster. This could only indicate a treasure of colossal scale. Even so, doubts tormented him. The wing part had not flown spontaneously toward him. The attraction was absurdly strong, far more intense than when he found the rippling wings of Venerable Tian Yang. And now, 9 layers of light curtains. Was it only a part of killing Wu Yuyi or something even greater? Perhaps a complete supreme treasure? Luo Feng suppressed the speculation. The only way to discover the truth was to move forward. The avatar crossed the 9th curtain. In the next instant, a vast and dazzling space revealed itself. Before it could observe any detail, countless enormous blades of blinding light swept across the avatar like a storm of absolute destruction. Pain invaded every particle of the body. In the blink of an eye, the Demon Killer Clan avatar was completely annihilated. Outside the first curtain, Luo Feng blinked in shock. A universe venerable, destroyed instantly, not even enough time to react. This attack, is comparable to that of a universe lord. The analysis was terrifying. A power capable of erasing a universe venerable within fractions of a second indicated something far beyond ordinary. Without hesitation, Luo Feng created another avatar. Once again, the clone advanced through the 9 curtains. This time, at the exact moment it crossed the 9th layer, it immediately activated the talented secret domain. Its body fused completely with the surrounding space within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers. For a brief moment, it became part of the very cosmic fabric of that mysterious place. Even so, the attack came. Countless blade-shaped rays of light transformed the space into a chaotic flow of particles. The power was devastating, capable of destroying heaven and earth, erasing everything. The avatar was swept away and annihilated again. Luo Feng, outside, felt a chill. Destruction of time and space, breaking the laws through absolute brute force. He understood the magnitude. In the universe, laws governed everything, but absolute power could completely ignore them. Just as the strongest being in the universe could speak and make the law obey, a supreme Xeon treasure could create a domain where no law resisted. That was the level of power he faced. A treasure capable of annihilating universe lords with ease. Excitement overtook Luo Feng. The more powerful the treasure, the better. He possessed the Blood Cloud Palace, a supreme flying palace treasure with extraordinary material defense, capable of resisting even full attacks from the strongest being in the universe. And most importantly, he possessed the Star Tower, a supreme Xeon treasure. According to his teacher, none of the 3 great Jedi realms could damage such supreme relics. Even so, he would not act recklessly. Luo Feng sent avatar after avatar, dozens of times. Each attempt was a sacrifice to gather information. Every time, the endless storm of shining blades swept across and instantly destroyed the clone. The cost was minimal, only divine power that recovered quickly. On the 39th attempt, something changed. The avatar managed to survive for 1/1,000,000th of a second longer. Luo Feng's consciousness, accelerated to the extreme, captured the scene. An immense dark space filled with chaotic flows of particles. Endless storms of blades swept across distances measured in light years, and far away, shining with unimaginable intensity. A colossal pair of wings. The wings appeared infinite in height, shining billions of times brighter than the sun. Rays of pure white light emanated from them, carrying supreme coercion, a pressure so overwhelming and terrifying that Luo Feng's consciousness froze for an instant. It was a presence that inspired total surrender, as though the universe itself bowed before it. Before he could absorb more details, the avatar was destroyed once again by the storm. Luo Feng remained motionless outside the first curtain, his mind reverberating with the shocking image. Wings. A gigantic pair of wings made of pure light. Could it be that this monstrous wing is part of killing Wu Yuyi? The idea seemed absurd at first glance. He already possessed parts that, combined with the wings of Venerable Tianyang, formed 4 wings at the highest level. But this pair was incomparably more magnificent. He had seen Xeon treasures before. He possessed the Star Tower, whose nebulous spiral devoured energy with astonishing force. Many peak races had fought over it. The strongest beings in the universe had attempted to seize it, but nothing compared to the majesty and oppressive power of that pair of wings. This did not seem like merely a component. It looked like the strongest treasure, perhaps a strange supreme-level relic, extremely aggressive. Luo Feng's excitement was palpable. If he could integrate those wings, his divine body transformation, his god kingdom, and his flight and combat power would reach unimaginable heights. The cosmic implications were enormous. In the universe, where races like the Divine Eye race sent lords to investigate the fall of their members without success, he, a human, stood before an opportunity capable of redefining his position among the great powers. However, the mystery persisted. Why did the wings not fly toward him? The attraction was mutual and intense, but something kept them trapped there. Could it be a component of a complete supreme Xeon treasure? How could something so powerful be only a fragment? The waters of Qingfeng realm continued their eternal movement, hiding secrets capable of changing the destiny of entire civilizations. Luo Feng, with eyes shining with determination, knew the true challenge had only just begun. Within the dark and silent depths of the waters of Qingfeng realm, Luo Feng remained motionless outside the first curtain of light, his mind still echoing with the overwhelming image captured by his avatar. the pair of infinite wings of pure light, shining with an intensity billions of times greater than a star, radiated a coercion so supreme that it instantly froze the consciousness of a universe master. It was pressure worthy of a treasure capable of making the cosmos itself bow. Luo Feng pondered deeply, his heart racing from the magnitude of the discovery. Could the relationship between these two pairs of wings I possess and that pair of light wings be similar to the connection between the sealed tower bead and the star tower? Could it be that I possess only two small parts of that colossal wing of light? The possibility filled him with a mixture of ecstasy and reverence. If it were true, integrating that treasure could elevate his power to a completely new level, transforming his divine body structure and drastically amplifying the range and strength of his god kingdom. However, before he could deepen his thoughts, disaster struck suddenly. The entire deep cave was flooded by an infinite quantity of icy white sand. Countless grains flowed like a living sea, penetrating through solid rock, filling every crack, and sweeping through everything with irresistible force. Even the curtain of light rippled slightly, as though time and space around it were being distorted by that absolute domain. Any attempt at investigation became useless before that curtain of white sand. The treasure realm? Frozen sand sea? Luo Feng was completely caught by surprise. He immediately recognized the treasure of the Lord of Ernst & Young, about which he had been warned by the Lord of Flint. A powerful voice echoed directly inside his mind, passing through the endless sea of sand. Luo Feng, the galaxy lord of primitive humanity? At the same instant, the surrounding spatial fluctuations condensed, completely sealing space itself. There was no immediate escape through teleportation. Luo Feng cursed internally. That pair of wings of light was, without a doubt, a supreme treasure of unimaginable power, extremely precious and deeply connected to his own Wu Yuyi wings. Even the brief glimpse from the avatar revealed that it was something specialized in devastating attacks. Combined with the star tower, it could make him practically invincible. However, the sudden appearance of the Lord of Ernst & Young complicated everything. I cannot let him discover the secret of the cave, Luo Feng thought coldly. The divine eye race was a monstrous superpower, far stronger than humanity. If they were alerted about a treasure of that magnitude, Luo Feng would lose any chance of obtaining it. Without hesitation, he transformed into a beam of light and shot away, trying to escape. Meanwhile, atop a submerged mountain, the Lord of Ernst & Young observed the entrance of the distant cave with rare excitement visible on his face. For years, he had meticulously explored reference frame 193293, alternating between slow and detailed searches through caves, valleys, and aquatic vegetation, with rapid sweeps spanning hundreds of light years using his treasure realm. It was a tedious but effective combination. He never imagined that a random sweep would reveal nothing less than Luo Feng, the genius of primitive humanity. What extraordinary luck, he thought, with a sense of absolute superiority. To the Lord of Ernst & Young, Luo Feng was merely a newcomer at the level of Universe Lord, with strength barely reaching the second order. He did not see the human as a true threat. Quickly, the Lord of Ernst & Young contacted his tribe. Within a small universe of the divine eye race, his avatar positioned itself before an ancient mirror, transmitting the exact location. I intercepted Luo Feng, the primitive human of the universe. I am in reference frame 193293. He is extremely strong in domain control and possesses peak treasures in that category. Who can arrive the fastest? The responses appeared one after another. Lord Jin Zhang would be the fastest, arriving in about 40 minutes. Others would take hours or days. The excitement was collective. Capturing or eliminating Luo Feng meant not only weakening humanity, but also obtaining possible valuable treasures. They knew the human race would fiercely protect its genius, especially the Chaos City Lord. But they were willing to take the risk. While the incarnations coordinated strategies within the depths of the waters, confrontation became inevitable. Luo Feng flew out of the cave and hovered within the turbulent waters. Not far away, above a submerged mountain, the Lord of Ernst & Young watched him coldly. With an internal roar, Luo Feng activated his golden kingdom. Golden flames swept through everything, instantly dispersing the grains of frozen sand. The Golden Kingdom expanded for several light years, with Luo Feng at the center, 4 wings spread majestically, facing the enemy. The infinite golden light formed by the flaming sand flames created a domain of its own, where he maintained tactical advantage. Lord of Ernst & Young, You truly appear everywhere, Luo Feng exclaimed, his voice echoing with determination. The Lord of Ernst & Young laughed loudly. I did not deliberately search for you. I have explored these waters for a long time. It was you who came here seeking treasures. If you chose a dead-end path, who can be blamed? Luo Feng mocked the provocation, but remained extremely vigilant. He suspected the Lord of Ernst & Young had explored the area for years and might possess clues about the treasure. However, after analyzing the situation, he concluded the enemy still had not discovered the specific cave. There were countless rock formations, caves, and canyons. Finding that particular one quickly would be almost impossible. Killing is the only way, declared the Lord of Ernst & Young, deliberately stalling while waiting for reinforcements. He knew he could defeat Luo Feng easily, but killing him would be difficult. Luo Feng did not wait. Holding his warblade, he transformed into a streak of light and attacked directly. The initial clash was fierce. The scepter of the Lord of Ernst & Young shone, unleashing an extremely fast strike. Luo Feng's golden blade barely blocked it, but the impact hurled him backward. Far too fast, Luo Feng thought, feeling his entire body tremble. Despite the double suppression from his Kuyu wing and the Golden Kingdom, he was at a clear disadvantage. The enemy's divine power and secret technique were superior. The Lord of Ernst & Young praised coldly. Your blade is good, but your divine power is weaker, and your technique is still only at the ultimate level. Then he advanced with a heavy strike, gathering the force of an entire universe into the scepter. At the critical moment, a red figure appeared in the distance. The Hallmaster of the Blood Cloud Palace, holding an enormous spear. With deadly precision, the spear pierced the palm of the Lord of Ernst & Young, who tried to block it. Die! The roar echoed. The spear instantly transformed into the Star Tower. The power of the second layer Supreme Xeon Treasure activated, piercing through the enemy's body without defense. The Lord of Ernst & Young screamed, feeling his divine body weaken violently. Luo Feng did not waste the opportunity. I am for the universe! He unleashed his strongest secret method, combining all his strength, the wings, and the Golden Kingdom into one devastating final attack. The battle between the human genius and the veteran of the Divine Eye race exploded within the depths of Qingfeng, carrying cosmic stakes. If Luo Feng fell, humanity would lose its most promising talent. If he endured until reinforcements arrived, the secret of the light wings could escape forever. The fate of a treasure capable of shaking the balance of power between races hung by a thread. The intensity of the confrontation only increased, while time ran against Luo Feng. Within the turbulent depths of the waters of Qingfeng realm, the battle reached a level of ferocity that shook the very fabric of space itself. The long thrust of the Star Tower, controlled by the Hallmaster of the Blood Cloud, pierced through the air with deadly precision. The surrounding golden flames formed a gigantic vortex, while the immensely heavy waters of the realm also swirled into a colossal whirlpool. That thrust was fierce and unbelievably fast. The Lord of Ernst & Young had just executed his strongest secret technique with the scepter. He had no time to defend properly against the surprise attack. In desperation, he could only raise his left palm, activating the secret technique, fighting against heaven. However, a movement meant to be executed with the scepter lost much of its power when used through the palm, lacking enough offensive force to resist. The tip of the spear pierced directly through the palm. A cry of pain escaped the Lord of Ernst & Young. A massive quantity of divine power was destroyed instantly. His aura weakened drastically, dropping below 50% in a single moment. However, in the blink of an eye, infinite divine power flowed from the world ring, transferred from the avatar of his main body. The Lord of Ernst & Young recovered rapidly, rising into the air with renewed fury. The surrounding environment darkened completely, plunging into primordial chaos. Chaotic air currents filled everything. Luo Feng did not hesitate. With overwhelming momentum, he simultaneously activated the blessings. Killing Wings of Wu Yuyi, blessing. Flaming Sand Cup, blessing. Micro-Universe, blessing. His power exploded. The micro-universe generated terrifying pressure even without direct attacks, completely suppressing the opponent. Beside him, the Hallmaster of the Blood Cloud, radiating an infinite evil and bloodthirsty aura, wielded a colossal spear measuring tens of thousands of kilometers. The two warriors of humanity, Luo Feng and his disguised clone, joined forces with perfect coordination. Everything was part of Luo Feng's meticulous plan. By dispersing the frozen sand sea with the Golden Kingdom and the flames, He completely controlled the area. The Lord of Ernst & Young had failed to detect the silent release of the golden-horned beast clone, which had assumed the identity of the Hallmaster. "Hallmaster of the Blood Cloud!" roared the Lord of Ernst & Young furiously. "You disappeared for so long, yet you are still famous within the primitive universe. You befriend no one, and now you attack me beside this human Luo Feng? Have you betrayed your own neutrality?" The response came arrogant and savage. "I befriend whoever I want. Luo Feng pleases me. He belongs to my primitive universe. If I do not help him, should I help someone from the first era?" Luo Feng shouted, "Shui Yun, let us join forces and deal with him." The Hallmaster responded with a strange cry of agreement. The Lord of Ernst & Young retreated, anxious and furious. The situation, which had seemed completely under control, had turned into a nightmare with the unexpected arrival of the Hallmaster. He knew well the reputation of the Blood Cloud Palace Master: extremely strong defense, willingness to exchange injuries, and enough power to pressure even the Galaxy Lord. Now, combined with Luo Feng, the threat was lethal. Luo Feng felt a wave of excitement. Fortunately, it is possible to use the micro-universe within this cosmic ocean. The chaotic air currents of Qingfeng realm were pure and abundant. Upon activating the micro-universe, the power controlled by Luo Feng increased dramatically as it mixed with those primordial flows. Miniature universe, chaotic air currents, gather! Two enormous tornado vortices formed, surrounding both Luo Feng's battle blade and the spear of the Star Tower. The coordinated attacks became devastating. The spear of the Star Tower, using the full power of the second layer of the Supreme Xeon Treasure, pierced repeatedly. The golden light of Luo Feng's blade, fast and precise, cut mercilessly. The Lord of Ernst & Young blocked frantically, using his nebulous-shaped scepter and the technique Feng Tian. Every impact made his divine body tremble and weaken. He was a true Tier 4, one of the strongest among the Universe Lords, with robust defense and astonishing recovery capability. Normally, even against the strongest being in the universe, he would not be pressured this way. But now, facing two enemies simultaneously, he could only block one side at a time. When he blocked the Hallmaster of the Blood Cloud, Luo Feng's blade struck him. When he tried to contain Luo Feng, the spear pierced him. The divine body weakened, recovered, weakened again. With every cycle, humiliation and rage increased. Luo Feng, with the triple blessing of the micro-universe, Ocean of Flames, and Golden Kingdom, effectively reached combat power comparable to Tier 5. The golden horned beast clone, wielding the Star Tower, operated at full Tier 4 level. Together, they completely dominated the battlefield. 9 seconds of relentless fury passed. Luo Feng, feeling the enemy's stubborn resistance, dissolved the micro-universe. The chaotic vortices disappeared. The suppression loosened. The Lord of Ernst & Young, taking advantage of the opening, broke through the spatial blockade and teleported away in desperation. "Trying to escape?" roared the Hallmaster. "Do not pursue!" ordered Luo Feng. "That guy cannot be beaten to death." He also suspended the spatial blockade, allowing the escape. Losing divine power was acceptable for the enemy, but the humiliation of being massacred by two opponents was unbearable. Within the depths of the waters, Luo Feng and the Hallmaster of the Blood Cloud stood side by side. With a gesture, Luo Feng stored the clone back into his world ring. "Even if news of our alliance leaks out, it will not be a major issue." The Hallmaster never had hostility toward humanity. Internally, he reflected on the political implications. Humanity had already offended the three great alliances, having allies such as the ancestors, the giant beasts, and now a mysterious figure like the Hallmaster strengthened their position within the universe. Luo Feng flew back toward the cave, his heart still pulsing with the adrenaline of victory. The pair of infinite wings of light continued waiting within the depths, a treasure capable of redefining his cosmic future. Meanwhile, within the seventh small universe of the Divine Eye Race, the Lord of Ernst & Young sat upon his throne, his face twisted with uncontrollable rage. Damn! He contacted Lord Jinzang through the ancestral mirror, reporting the humiliating failure. Jinzang, irritated for having crossed dangers unnecessarily, harshly reprimanded him before cutting the communication. Alone, the Lord of Ernst & Young analyzed the situation coldly. The Hallmaster of the Blood Cloud must have been hidden inside Luo Feng's world ring from the beginning. No wonder. I fear the Hallmaster of the Blood Cloud is actually a human. The revelation ignited new flames of hatred and suspicion among the cosmic races. The battle had ended, but the consequences were only beginning. A legendary treasure awaited within the depths, while the superpowers moved their pieces across the universal board. Luo Feng was closer than ever to a power capable of shaking the balance between races. Imagine the vast and relentless universe, where ancient secrets spread like flames across a sea of stars. The news explodes among the cosmic masters. The Blood Cloud Hallmaster, a human being, was secretly protecting Luo Feng. Whispers become waves, and waves become political storms. "You are not joking," some ask in disbelief. Others laugh bitterly, realizing it makes sense. After all, the Blood Cloud Hallmaster never directly attacked the human race. Now everything fits together. The Divine Eyes race, under the clear intention of the Lord of Ernst & Young, feeds this information to forces of the primordial universe. The objective is simple and cruel. Create friction, isolate Luo Feng, and punish humanity for interfering with their plans. And it works. Forces that lost universe masters to the Blood Cloud Hallmaster explode in indignation. Direct accusations echo throughout the cosmos. The Blood Cloud Hallmaster belongs to the humans? You allowed him to kill without control? What is wrong with you? You still refuse to admit it? You humans are too cruel. The response of the human race is hard as cosmic steel. They do not recognize the Hallmaster as an official part of them, but they also do not bow down. No one controls who Luo Feng befriends. Our race does not limit the power of a Lord of the Universe in choosing allies. If he truly is a friend of the Blood Cloud Hallmaster, that is his problem. And if you want compensation, good luck. Humanity's backbone is harder than ever. They do not retreat, they do not explain, they do not apologize. Inside, however, universe lords such as the Lord of Chaos and the Lord of Virtual Gold feel the weight. They question Luo Feng directly within the virtual universe. His answer is simple, almost casual. "We met in the waters of the Qingfeng realm. We fought, then we ran together." A direct explanation that hides deeper layers. Meanwhile, the Lord of Ernst & Young watches from afar with a cold smile. His previous plan was frustrated by Luo Feng and the Blood Cloud Hallmaster. The humiliation burns. He knows that enemies of the Hallmaster will now look at Luo Feng with hostility. The more enemies, the better. The edge of the sword sharpens through friction. Luo Feng, on the other hand, remains unmoved. He carries the Star Tower, a supreme treasure, and feels that another Xeon treasure may be within his reach. Being extraordinary means attracting dangers, and he accepts that. In the depths of a cave between the first and second curtains of light, Luo Feng sits silently. He learned from the previous mistake. This time, he does not risk being detected. The first curtain of light already protects him from powerful scans. His heart beats strongly, but he controls the excitement. Any Xeon treasure does not surrender easily. Arrogance here means death. He meditates for 5 long minutes. All mental noise disappears. Excitement, restlessness, everything dissolves like waves on a calm lake. Only pure focus remains. Let's go. The Demon Slayer clone already tested the mysterious space more than 100 times. In most attempts, it died instantly upon appearing. Only twice did it manage to glimpse the environment, an infinitely large wing of light, dazzling, surrounded by infinite blade-shaped storms that swept away everything. A place of primordial power, capable of destroying anything weak. Luo Feng decides to use maximum power. The golden-horned beast clone remains behind. The earth deity enters, carrying Wu Yuyi. He feels that weapon may be useful there. In his hand appears the Star Pagoda. Grow! The tower expands to tens of thousands of kilometers in height, imposing and majestic. Luo Feng enters. In the central control room, the 9-sided metal floor reveals everything around through complete vision. He connects his consciousness to the mind of the Star Tower. A low intelligence, almost childish, but with terrifying calculation speed. The curtains of light appear clearly. The Star Tower advances slowly, penetrating layer after layer. First, second, third, until the 9th. Luo Feng grits his teeth. It must work. He carries Killing Wu feather wings, the Jia armor, and other valuable treasures. Losing them here would be catastrophic. The moment he crosses the 9th curtain, the world changes. Infinite darkness. And then, blinding light. Blade storms. Infinite, violent, primordial. Sweep through space like a cosmic tsunami. The Star Tower, colossal with tens of thousands of kilometers, suddenly seems like a small fishing boat within a galactic hurricane. The first impact is devastating. Hundreds of gigantic blades collide against the tower. The shock is so brutal that the Star Tower is thrown away like a toy, rolling, spinning, flying uncontrollably. Countless furious blades strike it repeatedly. Luo Feng, inside the control room, feels no physical movement thanks to the tower's protection, but he sees everything. His creation, the symbol of his supreme power, being treated like a football kicked by invisible giants. My God, he is impressed, deeply impressed. Each blade of light possesses power hundreds of times greater than the strongest strike of a galaxy lord, and it does not stop there. Luo Feng analyzes coldly. Any one of those blades surpasses the attack of one of the strongest beings in the universe. He has never directly faced a being of that level, but he knows the limits. Here, the limits are broken easily. If I had entered alone, I would have been annihilated instantly. The Star Tower resists, but can barely move. It is thrown in every direction, completely at the mercy of the storms. The difference in power is absurd. This is not a mere barrier. It is a domain of ancient cosmic laws, possibly connected to the very formation of the universe, or to a primordial treasure. Luo Feng makes a quick decision. Smaller. The Star Tower shrinks drastically, becoming a microscopic dust particle. This is the power of a Xeon treasure, the ability of extreme compression without affecting the internal space. Now the scenario changes. The blades are so vast that, at this tiny size, the impacts become occasional. The distance between the blades creates room to maneuver. With a single occasional impact, the Star Tower finally manages to stabilize its flight. Luo Feng feels control returning. The floating dust advances with determination through the chaos. In the distance, shining like the very heart of the cosmos, the infinite wing of light appears, dazzling, magnetic, carrying a power that transcends understanding. Luo Feng, inside the tiny tower, watches with eyes burning with ambition and caution. This is the true prize, a treasure capable of elevating his power to unimaginable levels. But the path toward it is a sea of blades capable of destroying even the strongest beings in the universe. A toy in the hands of destiny. That is how the Star Tower seems now. And Luo Feng, the player who refuses to be merely a piece. In the most dangerous and isolated depths of that mysterious space, the Star Tower, reduced to the size of a mere dust particle, continued its audacious advance. Luo Feng, seated in the central control room, observed with attentive and determined eyes. The surrounding environment was pure primordial chaos. Infinite storms of light blades swept across all space, each one carrying terrifying power, superior even to the most devastating attacks of the strongest beings in the universe. The Star Tower could not maintain straight flight. It twisted, accelerated, and decelerated constantly, dodging the colossal blades that cut through the void. Every occasional impact made the tower tremble, but its supreme structure resisted firmly. Luo Feng felt within his own divine soul the brutal force of those blades. It is too far, he thought, his heart tightening because of the colossal distance. That entire mysterious space measured more than 10 light-years in diameter. The dazzling wing of light still seemed like a distant dream, separated by several light-years. Teleportation was impossible. Space and time there were completely shattered by the incessant storms. There were no stable spatial fluctuations to use as a medium, only pure, persistent, and dangerous flight. Luo Feng reflected on the advantages he possessed. Within the Universe Sea, the maximum speed far exceeded the limits of the original universe. There, even under pressure, the Star Tower could achieve intermittent peaks of 50 times the speed of light. It was enough to progress, although in a tortuous manner. Time passed slowly, relentlessly. An entire month dragged on within that hell of blades. More than 5 light-years had been crossed. The gigantic wing of light was now much closer, shining with an intensity that blinded the soul. Luo Feng observed in fascination. So this is it. All these blade storms are being emitted directly by the wing of light. At the edge of that colossal structure, infinite lights emerged endlessly, spreading through space and creating the storms that swept away everything. When the blades touched the wing itself, they were silently absorbed, as if returning to their origin. Eruption and absorption. A cycle that maintained the balance of energy. Luo Feng analyzed deeply. The real energy consumption of that wing must be minimal, despite the limitless power it displayed. It was a supreme-level treasure, far beyond the colored Aurora Lake he had once witnessed. That domain treasure was powerful, but limited in attack. The Wing of Light, however, combined devastating offense with a mystery that went far beyond ordinary understanding. Even dual-faced ancestral gods and imaginary demons could not extract the full potential of their treasures without deep comprehension. Here, Luo Feng felt that he stood before something that transcended the ordinary among Xian treasures. 3 more days of exhausting flight passed. The proximity now allowed astonishing details. Suddenly, Luo Feng's expression changed drastically. Pure shock overtook his mind. What he believed to be a single gigantic wing of light, more dazzling than billions of stars, was not exactly what it appeared to be. Up close, it revealed itself as a colossal formation composed of countless densely overlapped blades of light. The blades at the edge were more sparse, generating the storms that swept through space. The closer to the core, the more compact and overlapped they became, creating the illusion of a single immense wing. Countless blades forming a wing of light, Luo Feng murmured, his heart racing with excitement and reverence. Then what is the origin of these blades? At the center of that entire formation, he finally saw the true source. A real white wing, approximately 100 meters in wingspan, floating in the void. Around it, a space similar to a pure vacuum highlighted its perfect wing shape. Outside that vacuum, the blades of light accumulated infinitely, dense, forming the colossal structure visible from afar. Those white wings were the origin of everything, the source of the storms dominating the mysterious space. The killing Wu Yu wings on Luo Feng's back trembled violently, as if longing to fly there, drawn by an irresistible force. Luo Feng held his breath, controlling the star tower to approach cautiously. 100 million kilometers. 10 million. 1 million. The speed gradually decreased as the pressure increased. The vision became clearer and clearer. The white wings possessed approximately 100 meters in height, with a layer of pure white light, but the base material was whitish with slightly gray and dirty tones. Bloodstains marked their surface, giving an ancient and tragic appearance. The closer he came, the more details emerged. Marks of wear, a history of ancient battles engraved into the very structure of the treasure. At 10,000 kilometers, an overwhelming will exploded against Luo Feng, an infinite will filled with absolute supremacy and mad fury. Go away! The impact was so strong that for an instant it blinded his senses. Luo Feng felt like an ant before a primordial tiger, yet he remained conscious. Soon he realized something strange. The impact was virtual, exaggerated in appearance, but not as lethal as it seemed. The star tower protected his soul with supreme efficiency. The will roared endlessly, "Go away, or I will kill you." Repetitive, primitive, almost childish in intelligence. Luo Feng remained calm, even mocking it internally. Compared to more sophisticated will attacks, such as those experienced during blood fusions or spiritual invasions, this one was foolish. Only repeated threats without complex illusions or strategy, an extremely low intelligence for something so powerful. Even so, as the distance decreased, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000 kilometers, the impact grew. At 2,000 kilometers, Luo Feng began to feel real strain. The pressure rose geometrically. His divine body trembled. Drops of sweat appeared on his forehead. At 100 kilometers, the weight became crushing. At 50 kilometers, he knelt on one knee inside the control room, teeth clenched, his entire body vibrating under the insane pressure. Still, he resisted. The will screamed with increasing desperation, "I will kill you! I will tear out your soul! You will suffer forever!" Luo Feng smiled coldly. "If you could kill me, you would have already done it. Inside the star tower, not even the strongest being in the universe could touch me easily, and you are only a paper tiger." At 50 kilometers, his vision focused on the final details of the white wings. 3 horrible scratches marked their flawless surface, like cuts left by a terrible weapon in an ancient battle. Those marks damaged the delicate lines sculpted into the treasure. Broken wings, damaged, imperfect. Luo Feng observed in deep shock, his heart pounding strongly. What could be capable of damaging such a supreme treasure? What cosmic battle had occurred there? The will continued roaring furiously at his approach, but he kept moving forward, slow and determined, each kilometer a victory against forces that could destroy ordinary universe lords in moments. Luo Feng's ambition burned stronger than ever. There before him was a treasure that transcended the ordinary, a power capable of generating storms that swept through light years of space, a wounded artifact but still alive, pulsing with primordial energy. The implications were vast. If he managed to recognize it as master, his power would rise to unimaginable levels. The enemy races would tremble. His political enemies, such as the Lord of Ernst and Young, would see his influence grow even more. Luo Feng's progression had reached a critical point. From a talented youth to a lord of the universe who challenged the cosmos, every step demanded courage, intelligence, and unbreakable will. And there, floating like dust before ancient wings, he demonstrated exactly that. Space trembled. The blades continued their deadly dance, and Luo Feng, inside the Star Tower, moved ever closer to the heart of that supreme mystery. The destiny of the universe watched silently, waiting for the next move of that human who refused to be merely another player on the cosmic board. In the most dangerous and isolated depths of that mysterious space, the Star Tower floated motionless 16 kilometers away from the white wings. Luo Feng, initially kneeling under the overwhelming pressure, observed with eyes filled with shock and reverence the 3 deep scratch marks engraved upon the surface of the supreme treasure. Those white wings, stained with ancient blood and displaying a beautiful and intricate pattern, emanated unimaginable power. Every blade of light spreading from there possessed force superior to any attack of the strongest beings in the universe, sweeping through light years of space in infinite storms. And even so, the treasure was damaged. How was that possible? A Xeon treasure should not be indestructible? Not even within the 3 main Jedi was this kind of damage common. Luo Feng felt the cosmic weight of that sight. His thoughts flew toward the depths of the universe. Since stepping onto the path of evolution, he had learned that the cosmos guarded unfathomable secrets. Strong men of the reincarnation era could live through 3 entire eras, except in the 2 sacred places. No one had ever detected the true boundary of the universe. Small universes, some broken, existed in countless numbers, and the 2 sacred universes were vast beyond imagination, created by existences whose powers surpassed all current comprehension. What kind of being could have damaged a treasure like that? What ancient battle, what primordial force had left such deep scars and bloodstains that seemed to contain supreme will? Luo Feng remained calm despite the shock. He knew the universe was mysterious, and that many answers still escaped even the strongest beings. Perhaps those wings had participated in a conflict between beings who created sacred universes. Perhaps the environment of the Central Jedi had damaged them. Regardless of the origin, a tragic and grand history hovered over that treasure. But Luo Feng did not lose himself in useless speculation. His objective was clear: conquer that supreme treasure. The overwhelming will continued roaring endlessly. Go away! Stay away from me! Or I will kill you. The pressure rose geometrically as he approached. Every kilometer was a battle against a force that made his divine body tremble to the bones. Muscles and bone structure seemed to scream in agony. Luo Feng clenched his teeth, controlling the Star Tower with iron determination. This pain was extreme, but still far from the suffering he had felt during the fusion with the Star Tower in the catastrophe of life and death. He resisted, advancing meter by meter. 45 kilometers. 40, 36, 30, 22. The pain exploded in waves. At certain moments, Luo Feng felt himself on the verge of fainting, his consciousness wavering. The will mocked him. You cannot get close. Leave, and I will spare your pathetic life. But Luo Feng did not retreat. He finally stopped at 16 kilometers, still not the absolute limit of life and death, but enough that proceeding further would be reckless suicide. The Star Tower remained there, motionless. Inside the central control room, Luo Feng sat cross-legged, eyes closed, silently resisting the constant impact. Days turned into weeks. Half a year passed under that crushing pressure. Gradually, his will was sharpened like a divine blade. What had once been unbearable torment became tempering that strengthened his soul. When he finally opened his eyes, a slight smile appeared on his face. Under this pressure, my will has been tempered. A valuable harvest. His gaze turned toward the white wings. It was time to act. A thread of divine power was released from the Star Tower, attempting to approach. Instantly, the overwhelming will disintegrated it with absurd ease. The divine power carried the mark of his life and will, but it was erased like smoke. Luo Feng frowned. It does not work. He then made the Star Tower grow. The tower extended majestically, the pinnacle advancing toward the wings. Even so, the divine power spread through the structure continued being crushed in the upper portion. He tried hooking the wings with the edge of the 9-story tower, hundreds of kilometers against mere 100 meters. Logic said it should be easy. However, when the pinnacle touched the white wings, it was like an ant striking against an eternal mountain. Nothing happened. The wings did not even tremble. Luo Feng retreated, accelerated, and struck repeatedly, reaching dozens of times the speed of light. Powerful impacts echoed, but the wings remained motionless, continuing to release infinite blades that formed the colossal wing of light. The Star Tower, capable of resisting universe lords and remaining unshakable on battlefields, could not move that treasure that seemed tiny in comparison. Luo Feng felt growing frustration, but also deep determination. A supreme treasure floated there, releasing infinite power, and he could not effectively touch it. He understood the difficulty. The 4 pinnacle races had fought fiercely over the Star Tower, and even so, recognition of ownership had not been simple. 9 days passed in relentless attempts. The overwhelming will never stopped. "Roll away, useless human!" Luo Feng had already become accustomed to the roar. Then, suddenly, an invisible and ancient wave transmitted from the white wings, crossing through the Star Tower and reaching Luo Feng's mind directly. Human. The voice was ancient, deep, completely different from the primitive and repetitive will from before. "Who are you?" Luo Feng asked, his eyes shining with alertness and curiosity. "I am the Supreme Winged Spirit." The ancient voice sounded mature, with clear consciousness. Luo Feng was surprised, but not shocked. The Star Tower itself possessed a spirit, although childish. This one, however, was mature and conscious. The Supreme Winged Spirit revealed its history. It had gone through a great battle alongside its master. The master had fallen, the wings had been broken, and the original winged spirit had been destroyed. It was a newly born spirit, remembering only fragments, mainly the blade of the enemy. It had been trapped there for countless years, believing it existed alone, until it realized there were other pairs of wings. It considered itself the core, the others merely peripheral parts. Luo Feng listened attentively. A battle that brought down a master capable of possessing such a treasure. The cosmic implications were enormous. The spirit confessed that it had been trapped for countless years and wished to leave. For that, it needed help. 4 bloodstains marked its wings, containing terrible power and will that it suppressed. It had expelled only 1 after infinite eras. 3 still remained. To recover full strength and recognize a new master, it needed to devour precious treasures that would repair it. The conditions for recognition were rigorous: perfect genes and extremely strong will. For a lord of the universe like Luo Feng, the will needed to be comparable to that of the strongest beings in the universe. The spirit evaluated that his still needed improvement, at the level of a universe master. Luo Feng listened with apparent calm. However, suddenly his heart trembled. Something was wrong. Instinctively he felt, "It is lying to me." The mystery of the supreme wings deepens. An awakened ancestral spirit, secrets of ancient battles, and a wounded treasure that promises unimaginable power. Luo Feng stands before an opportunity that can transform his cosmic destiny forever, but also before dangers that go far beyond mere brute force. What is the Supreme Winged Spirit truly hiding, and how will Luo Feng overcome this final trial? In the heart of that mysterious space dominated by endless storms of blades, the Star Tower hovered at a carefully maintained distance from the white wings. Luo Feng, seated in the central control room, maintained extreme vigilance. He was not like other powerful beings of the universe, who treated the recognition of a Xeon treasure as something relatively safe, where the worst possible outcome would only be failure. Luo Feng carried the scar of his experience with the main Star Tower. He knew exactly how deadly the recognition process could be. A failure could mean instant death, allowing another powerful being to seize the treasure. The Star Tower itself was living proof that supreme treasures could demand the price of life. Please remember that all synopses and recaps posted by the Danzai Donghua channel are based on the novel and not on the ongoing Donghua anime. That is why it may seem strange to some people, but in the end, our hero Luo Feng will receive the same blessed destiny granted by the laws of the universe origin. Because of that, when the ancient voice of the Supreme Winged Spirit echoed inside his mind, Luo Feng remained extremely cautious. Every word was analyzed coldly. The spirit repeated the conditions. perfect genes, and a sufficiently strong will. For a universe lord, the will needed to reach the level of the strongest beings in the universe. Luo Feng smiled inwardly. He met the conditions, his life gene level was perfect, and his will had already reached the level of a universe master. Even so, he did not reveal everything immediately. Let's see what tricks you are preparing, he thought, keeping his guard high. The communication continued through gentle mental fluctuations. Luo Feng confirmed that he was a universe lord and possessed perfect genes. The supreme winged spirit expressed surprise, but insisted that lies would prevent successful recognition. Behind Luo Feng, the Killing Wu Featherwings trembled violently. Even after months within that space, the special high-level treasure reacted with increasing intensity the closer it got to the white wings, as if struggling to break free. Luo Feng could barely restrain them. The spirit explained that the mad and crushing will attacking them originated from the 3 remaining bloodstains. It was suppressing and gradually expelling them, but they resisted furiously, preventing any life form from approaching. After recognition, with the help of the new master, the expulsion would become faster. That was why the will fought desperately. As for the recognition method, the spirit offered a solution. It could separate its core component and send it outside. Luo Feng would only need to hold it in order to complete the process. Luo Feng felt a surge of excitement, but also distrust. It sounded far too simple. The spirit then requested sincerity, precious materials to repair its damaged state. At minimum, materials capable of refining a pinnacle treasure, or directly a pinnacle treasure itself. It specifically mentioned the war blade on Luo Feng's back. With me, you will no longer need that blade. I will be far stronger. The spirit sounded irritated, pressing for a display of commitment. If Luo Feng invested now, he would invest even more in the future. Otherwise, it would wait for the next powerful being capable of reaching that place. Luo Feng asked if he was the first to arrive. The supreme winged spirit revealed that he was not. 2 had arrived before him. The first, a universe lord, was instantly destroyed by the blade storm upon entering. His palace treasure shattered apart. The second had come a very long time ago, shortly after the birth of the spirit. It was a powerful being who possessed a pinnacle supreme palace treasure. They conversed for a long time. That being taught the spirit about the outside world, universe lords, universe venerables, and the basic concepts of the cosmos. He sharpened his will there, helped search for materials, but eventually disappeared. Most likely he had fallen during the Endless Era. The crushing will continued roaring endlessly. It is a wing! Terrible! It will kill you! The impact was constant, but Luo Feng was already accustomed to it. He reflected deeply about everything. 99% of his mind screamed that the spirit was lying. There were subtle inconsistencies, an intelligence attempting manipulation while exposing its own tail. Luo Feng contacted the spirit of the Star Tower, sharing the entire conversation. The tower's intelligence was low, but its processing ability was terrifying. Even so, it found no clear trap in the words because it knew little about other Xeon treasures. Time passed. Luo Feng decided not to yield to the request immediately. Instead, he used the situation to his advantage. He controlled the Star Tower to slowly move closer, challenging the pressure of the will. Every meter closer caused the impact to rise geometrically, tempering his will like divine steel within the hottest fire. It was a rare training environment where pain and oppression forged a stronger soul. 6 entire years passed in that rhythm. The distance gradually shrank to 15 kilometers. The Killing Wu Featherwings trembled more violently with each passing moment, nearly uncontrollable. Suddenly, an extremely weak wave of fluctuations emerged from the Killing Wu Featherwings themselves. Luo Feng became alarmed. The crushing pressure nearly knocked him down, forcing him to rapidly retreat the Star Tower back to 20 kilometers, where he finally stabilized. The fluctuations continued, weak like those of a newborn. For 6 long days, they barely managed to transmit a simple message. My master. A spirit had been born within the Killing Wu Featherwings, fragile like a baby, but alive. Luo Feng felt a mixture of shock, joy, and deep curiosity. With infinite patience, he accompanied its development. Half a year later, the spirit gained enough strength to communicate clearly. Master, I want to go out. The fluctuation came timidly. Go out? To where? Luo Feng asked. I want to eat. Eat the light outside. The source light? Yes, the source. What is the source? The source is inside it, the spirit answered with fragmented memory. There are 6 pairs of wings in the broken memory. The source of the 6 pairs of wings is there. I want to eat the source light. The words struck Luo Feng like a cosmic thunderbolt. 6 pairs of wings. The source. The core of a treasure that transcended everything he knew. The implications were monumental. The white wings were not merely a damaged treasure. They were part of something vastly greater, a primordial set whose source of power now awakened desire within the newborn spirit of his own wings. Luo Feng remained motionless, his heart pounding heavily as he analyzed the cosmic consequences. A supreme treasure wounded by ancient battles, a manipulative spirit, and now the birth of a new spirit within his own treasure. The progression of his power was entering a new stage, filled with opportunities and hidden dangers. The universe held secrets capable of elevating a universe lord to unimaginable heights, or destroying him completely. Within the depths of that mysterious space, wrapped in eternal blade storms, Luo Feng remained inside the Star Tower, his heart beating with a controlled mixture of excitement and extreme caution. The newborn spirit of Killing Wu Yuyi, fragile like a cosmic infant, was beginning to communicate with greater clarity. Luo Feng devoted nearly half an entire day to patient conversation, extracting every possible fragment of memory and understanding. Although newly formed, the spirit carried pieces of ancient memories. It did not remember grand battles, but vividly remembered the appearance of its former master, a majestic giant with an imposing body, 2 powerful horns, and 6 complete pairs of wings upon his back. Killing Wu Yuyi represented only 2 of those 6 pairs. The spirit was categorical. Every pair was essential. No one could achieve true perfection without all of them. Each component possessed unique special functions, working in harmony to form a treasure of transcendental power. Luo Feng listened with deep attention, analyzing the technical differences and structural complexity of that primordial artifact. The source of such immense power did not reside only within the individual wings, but within the source, the central core of all 6 wing pairs. Through the detailed communication, Luo Feng understood that the source functioned as the heart and engine of the treasure. Similar to an infinite energy reservoir, it stored and transformed divine power into massive quantities. The former master, a being of unimaginable power, used this source to sustain devastating attacks and an overwhelming presence. That was what made each pair of wings extraordinarily powerful, far beyond any ordinary treasure or even pinnacle-level treasures. Luo Feng felt the cosmic weight of that revelation. He was facing a treasure that transcended the known limits of Xeon treasures, connected to secrets capable of redefining his own progression as a universe lord. "How can I obtain this source?" Luo Feng asked, ambition burning within his thoughts. The spirit of Killing Wu Yuyi answered with childish urgency. The path was Lord recognition. Imprinting divine power onto the wing, engraving the mark of life, would allow control. However, there was a grave warning. As newborn spirits, both Killing Wu Yuyi and the spirit of the White Wings would enter into mortal conflict once they fused. One would devour the other. Only one would survive. Luo Feng sighed inwardly. He would choose to protect the spirit that had accompanied him from the beginning, loyal and born from his own treasure. The problem remained. His divine power could not approach the White Wings because of the crushing will. The spirit of Killing Wu Yuyi explained the true recognition conditions, revealing the severity of the situation. For a universe lord like Luo Feng, it was necessary to possess a will surpassing even that of the strongest beings in the universe. The requirements were progressive and brutal. A world lord required the will of a universe venerable. An immortal required the will of a universe lord. A universe venerable required the will of the strongest beings in the universe, and a universe lord required something beyond that. Luo Feng was astonished. He repeatedly questioned whether something truly existed above the strongest beings in the universe. The spirit confirmed through fragmented memories. Yes, its former master was one of those existences. That aligned with ancient speculation throughout the universe, especially the proud universe masters from the 2 sacred lands, who revered their universe ancestors as invincible beings far beyond ordinary strongest experts. Those 2 sacred universes, vast and eternal through countless eras, while innumerable small universes collapsed, served as living proof of the supreme difficulty of reaching such a level. Surviving the endless era required power that transcended current understanding. Luo Feng buried those revelations deep within his heart. The universe was vast, filled with powerful beings like dense forests, and he was still far from unraveling its deepest secrets. However, the comparison between the information from the spirit of killing Wu Yuyi and the information from the supreme winged spirit of the White Wings exposed the lie clearly. The White Spirit had manipulated the conditions, demanding only a strongest universe-level will from a universe lord, while also insisting on perfect genes. In truth, life genes did not matter for the recognition of the White Wings. The White Spirit was lying in order to create a deadly trap. The spirit of killing Wu Yuyi offered the safe path. Wait. When the White Wings sent the main component, the true source, Luo Feng could capture it inside the Star Tower. There, it would remain trapped, incapable of escape. The spirit of killing Wu Yuyi could then confirm whether it was truly the source. This strategy allowed Luo Feng to continue sharpening his will beneath the crushing pressure, transforming danger into a forge for his divine soul. 3 years passed. The spirit of killing Wu Yuyi grew rapidly, its intelligence developing while its fragmented memories were organized into logical inferences using data from the universe. Then, a familiar fluctuation arrived from the White Wings. Human! The supreme winged spirit was finally contacting him again, clearly impatient. It accused Luo Feng of deliberately dragging out time, using the place to temper his will while waiting. Luo Feng admitted it directly, without hesitation. The White Spirit expressed disappointment that Luo Feng refused to hand over a pinnacle treasure as proof of sincerity. Luo Feng calmly countered with epic composure. A pinnacle treasure was far too valuable to risk on an uncertain gamble. Once Lord Recognition was completed, he would naturally invest in strengthening the new treasure. The spirit retreated into silence. Another 3 years passed beneath the constant pressure of the crushing will, which continued forging Luo Feng's determination. Finally, the supreme winged spirit yielded. Fine, I give up. It agreed to send a main component. A small light detached itself from the White Wings and was immediately hurled millions of kilometers away by the blade storms, flying uncontrollably through the chaos. Luo Feng observed with maximum tension. Killing Wu? Is it the source? The spirit answered with certainty. No, that was fake. The true source would release countless blades of light while flying. That component concealed a deadly blade. If Luo Feng attempted recognition, he would instantly be struck and killed. Even before a supreme treasure floating within reach, Luo Feng maintained absolute control. The trap had been exposed. The supreme winged spirit of the White Wings was planning betrayal, but the loyal spirit of killing Wu Yuyi protected its master. Luo Feng's progression was entering a delicate and extremely dangerous phase. He needed to continue tempering his will until reaching the required level, without falling into the manipulations of the ancient spirit. The cosmos watched in silence. A treasure connected to existences surpassing the strongest beings in the universe, secrets of 6 pairs of wings, and a battle between spirits that would determine the future power of Luo Feng. Every choice carried cosmic stakes, the strengthening of his human lineage, the balance of forces within the primitive universe, and his own survival before dangers capable of annihilating even universe lords. Within the depths of that primordial space wrapped in chaos of endless blades, Luo Feng remained firm inside the Star Tower, his heart pulsing with maximum alertness and cold satisfaction. Fortunately, the spirit of killing Wu Yuyi had been born. Without it, even with all his vigilance, it would have been extremely difficult to expose every layer of the trap prepared by the supreme winged spirit of the White Wings. The wounded treasure represented power beyond imagination, but also mortal danger, capable of deceiving and destroying universe lords. A new fluctuation arrived. Human. The point of light that had previously flown uncontrollably within the storms was pulled back, rapidly approaching the White Wings and consequently the Star Tower, which hovered less than 15 kilometers away. Take the main component. I will teach you how to recognize the Lord and engrave your divine power into it. Luo Feng extended his divine power through the Star Tower and captured the point of light, a strange white bead. He held the object, but immediately sensed the impossibility of imprinting his life mark onto it. The supreme winged spirit insisted that he absorb the component into his body, mixing it with his divine power. Luo Feng smiled inwardly with coldness. It was an obvious trap. The moment the component entered the Star Tower without full protection, the hidden blade would be released to kill him instantly. Instead of falling for the provocation, Luo Feng retreated the Star Tower thousands of kilometers away. Soon afterward, a black figure emerged, the clone of the Demon Killer clan. Within the empty space of tens of thousands of kilometers surrounding the white wings, where there were no blade storms, the clone could manifest freely. By order of the Master, I will attempt Lord recognition. The Supreme Winged Spirit was visibly shocked. You allowed your soul servant to attempt Lord recognition in the outside world? If the attack occurred outside, it would only destroy a clone, without reaching the real Luo Feng. The clone attempted it, but absolutely no reaction occurred. The White Spirit then explained that only someone meeting the rigorous conditions would cause the component to react. Luo Feng counterattacked with surgical precision. Why did you not say that earlier when I sent my servant outside? A powerful treasure can fail recognition without risk to life, but my servant triggered absolutely no response. You are lying. Bring out the real core. The silence was brief. Then a frenzied roar exploded from the spirit's will. Damn it! Cursed human! How did you discover it? How did you discover this? Luo Feng did not hide his contempt. So you finally stopped pretending? He coldly exposed the entire trap step by step. From the very first contact, the spirit had used fragmented memories and the story of the fallen master to shock him with the damaged wings. Then it imposed harsh conditions, perfect genes, and an extremely powerful will, in order to create expectation. After that, it requested a pinnacle treasure as proof of sincerity, constructing a scenario where every obstacle overcome generated excitement, reducing suspicion. The fatal contradiction was revealed with epic clarity. The spirit said that Luo Feng, as a universe lord, needed to improve his will, but also insisted on the urgency of repair assistance, claiming that his life gene needed to be perfect. For a universe lord with a life gene 100 times beyond normal, reaching perfection would be an almost insurmountable difficulty. That would discourage anyone, removing the motivation to help. The lies were elaborate, but inconsistent when analyzed coldly. Luo Feng, vigilant from the very beginning, detected the flaws that most powerful beings, blinded by greed, would ignore. The Supreme Winged Spirit roared with fury. You want to become my master? You are far too unworthy. Only the greatest existence in the universe would deserve it. To me, you are a disgrace. My former master would be disappointed. Luo Feng calmly shook his head, giving an order to his killing Wu Yuyi. Yes, master. The spirit of killing Wu Yuyi responded with growing excitement. Within the reduced star tower, 4 exits opened. 4 gigantic silver wings emerged, expanding explosively. From microscopic size, they grew until surpassing stars, reaching hundreds of millions of kilometers, then billions, tens of billions, and continued stretching across light years in wingspan. It was as if the star tower itself had developed 4 majestic wings of pure silver. The enormous wing of light, more dazzling than billions of stars, trembled violently. Countless blades of light, previously controlled, changed direction and flew like moths drawn to flames toward the 4 silver wings. The Supreme Winged Spirit panicked. No, Spirit, your wings are alive too? How is that possible? An epic duel of wills and powers erupted. The White Spirit tried to control the blades, while killing Wu Yuyi desperately attracted them. This energy is mine, roared the White Spirit. We are one, replied Killing Wu. You are more damaged, but I also need recovery. Do not worry, I will not take everything. Countless blades of light were absorbed. The 4 silver wings shone intensely, their aura transforming. Internally, countless tiny damaged sections underwent deep restoration, like rotten wood being reborn into a new and living structure. Luo Feng, as master, sensed every change clearly. The power of killing Wu Yuyi visibly increased. The wings continued expanding. 1 light year, 2 light years. The larger they became, the more light they devoured. Ah, this feels so comfortable, exclaimed the spirit of Killing Wu. Master, my fragmented memories are becoming clearer. It vaguely recalled the terrible battle that shattered the complete treasure of 6 wing pairs. The white wings, the upper pair, were directly severed apart. The other 5 pairs, including Killing Wu Yuyi, suffered severe internal damage despite their intact appearance. The former master was an existence surpassing the strongest beings in the universe, and his source transformed divine power into restorative energy. Luo Feng's current divine power was still insufficient for complete restoration, but the source light was perfect for that purpose. The transformation of Luo Feng's divine body advanced indirectly through his treasure. His progression as a universe lord reached a new level. a treasure connected to primordial secrets, capable of rivaling forces that determined the survival of universes across eras, was now strengthening within his hands. The cosmic implications were immense. The balance of power within the primitive universe could change. Enemies such as the Lord of Ernst and Young would face an even greater threat, and the human race would gain an unshakable pillar of strength. The supreme winged spirit continued roaring with rage and despair. "No! It is mine! Stop!" But the blades flowed uncontrollably, feeding killing Wu Yuyi. Luo Feng observed everything with cold and ambitious eyes. The confrontation between the two spirits of the same origin revealed the true nature of that ancient treasure. What else remained hidden inside the fragmented memories? Would Luo Feng manage to capture the true source and completely unite the power of all 6 pairs of wings? The universe trembles before the unstoppable rise of this human universe lord. In the depths of that mysterious space, where eternal storms of blades cut through the endless void, the battle between the two spirits of the same origin reached its peak. Luo Feng, seated in the central control room of the Star Tower, watched with eyes shining with ambition and precise calculation. "Great! Master! Grow bigger again!" The urgent message from the spirit of killing Wu Yuyi echoed in his mind. Without hesitation, Luo Feng channeled all his power, causing the 4 gigantic silver wings to expand even further. Please remember that all synopses and recaps posted by the Danzai Donghua channel are based on the novel and not on the ongoing Donghua anime. That is why it may seem strange to some people. But in the end, our hero Luo Feng will receive the same blessed destiny granted by the laws of the universe origin. The killing Wu Featherwings had suffered devastating hidden damage in the ancient battle that shattered the complete treasure of 6 pairs, while the White Wings, as the superior pair and core, still maintained some active support from the source. The other pairs wandered lost, suffering continuous degradation. Without the source to store and transform energy, their power had been drastically reduced. Now, for the first time in countless eras, 2 complete pairs had found a primordial energy source capable of restoring them. The 4 silver wings grew to unimaginable sizes, stretching across light years, comparable to the colossal wing of light itself. The greater the volume, the greater the quantity of light blades they could absorb simultaneously. Countless rays, each more powerful than the full attack of one of the strongest beings in the universe, flowed like a river of silver fire into the wings. The enormous wing of light trembled violently, its colossal glow beginning to fade as it lost essence. "Stop!" The supreme winged spirit of the White Wings roared in despair and fury, trying in vain to control the flow. "You thieves! That energy is mine!" Killing Wu Yuyi responded with childish pride and provocation. "Come on! Do you have the ability to kill me? We are one. I need to recover. What is wrong with sharing?" The two spirits exchanged constant fluctuations filled with hostility. Both knew the truth. One day, when the wings fused completely, only one spirit would survive. One would devour the other. The spirit of the White Wings hated Luo Feng, but reserved even greater fury for its newly born rival. Luo Feng felt every transformation deeply. At 10% recovery, the spirit of killing Wu already showed excitement, then 30%, 40%, 50%. With every improvement, the aura of the silver wings became purer and stronger. The damaged internal parts regenerated like a divine body being forged once again. After nearly 30 hours of continuous absorption, the announcement finally came. "Master, I am completely recovered." Luo Feng felt a wave of joy and reverence. 1 day and a half. Only 1 day and a half to completely restore 2 pairs of wings from a Xeon Supreme treasure using energy stored by the source of an existence beyond the strongest beings in the universe. That demonstrated how precious and concentrated that blade light truly was. Every ray contained devastating power, and now it flowed to strengthen his personal treasure. With complete recovery, the silver wings reached their maximum state for 2 pairs. Luo Feng could now activate up to 2 secret techniques with far greater efficiency. Before, his divine power flowed with difficulty, wasting most of its strength. Now, it flowed smoothly, allowing him to unleash around 10% of the true potential. It was like a worn machine being repaired. Performance jumped from low levels to stages close to ideal. Even without the complete 6 pairs, the increase in power was significant, drastically raising Luo Feng's combat capability as a universe master. However, without the source, the wings could no longer store the blade light. The excess simply escaped. The true key for total control and infinite storage remained within the white wings. Luo Feng had tried before, but the white spirit was far too cautious to release the true source. Capturing it would have been the ideal path, imprisoning the source inside the star tower and forcing slow recognition. But the opportunity had already passed. Unfortunately, Luo Feng thought with slight frustration, but without discouragement. He understood the cosmic stakes. That treasure was connected to existences that transcended the strongest beings in the universe, capable of determining the survival of universes across eras. Leaving it there temporarily was the wisest choice. No one would be able to move it easily, just as no one moved the star tower on an external battlefield. The 4 silver wings rapidly shrank and returned to the star tower, which reduced itself once again to the size of a dust particle. Luo Feng smiled toward the nearby white wings. The crushing will continued striking endlessly, but now he viewed it as a rare treasure. This place is a paradise for sharpening the will, far too dangerous to be found in other places of the universe. Years passed. Luo Feng devoted himself completely to training. Under the constant and growing pressure of the will from the bloodstains, he tempered his divine soul like steel in primordial fire. Occasionally, he returned to deep studies, the mystical diagrams, the path of the beast god, and especially the Yuhai clone, which appeared on distant planets, absorbing insights from the real world. Every understanding strengthened his will, allowing him to resist the crushing impact with greater firmness. His divine body evolved indirectly, his progression as a universe master gaining layers of depth and resilience. 1,200 years passed in that relentless rhythm of internal forging. 1,200 years of isolation, controlled pain, and silent growth. Finally, the star tower, like floating dust, approached close enough. For the first time, it directly touched one of the bloodstains on the white wings. The stain, 1/2 meter in diameter, exhaled a terrifying aura containing residual will and energy from an ancient battle that had damaged even a supreme treasure. Luo Feng opened his eyes, his divine body tense. He felt the breath contained within that bloodstain, a primordial power, a history of conflict between beings who defined the fate of the cosmos. The star tower was now pressed against the stain, and the crushing will reached its peak, testing every fiber of his determination. That proximity marked a new milestone in Luo Feng's journey. The wounded treasure, the fragmented memories of 6 pairs of wings, the hidden source, and the need for a will surpassing the strongest beings in the universe painted a picture of monumental challenges. His rise would affect not only his own destiny, but also the balance of power between races, the primitive universe, and the political implications that would echo across eras. In the deepest and most dangerous isolated regions of the mysterious space, where infinite storms of blades cut through the fabric of reality, Luo Feng remained inside the star tower, now attached to one of the bloodstains on the white wings. The pressure of the crushing will reached its most intense peak, testing every fiber of his divine soul. He communicated internally with the spirit of killing Wu Yuyi on his back. This is the strongest impact coming from the blood on the wings. Killing Wu? Is my current will close enough to recognize the white wings as master? The spirit responded clearly. After all, it was part of that same ancestral treasure. Not very far. Master, your will has increased drastically during these 1,200 years. You are already at the peak among universe masters and represent a fundamental leap toward the level of the strongest beings in the universe. You are very close to the threshold. Luo Feng felt a deep calm mixed with satisfaction. Those 1,200 years of training under constant oppression had been worth every moment of pain. In the beast god realm, he had spent hundreds of millions of years, but the gain in will had been smaller. Here, the high-intensity pressure had sharpened his determination like nothing else. He knew, however, that it was a double-edged sword. Excess could cause collapse. Will did not advance like the comprehension of laws, which progressed step by step. It required brutal forging, qualitative leaps within the same level. I have been here for more than 1,000 years. It is time to leave. Luo Feng cast one final deep look toward the white wings, filled with mystery, ancient scars, and primordial power. The star tower slowly began moving away. He still needed to continue tempering his will. The universe ocean and the 3 main Jedi contained countless dangerous environments: illusions, impacts of will, forces of gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, and many others. Not all of them were accessible, It depended on the courage to face them. Human, I will make you regret this. I will make your four-winged spirit regret it as well. The furious fluctuation of the supreme winged spirit arrived like a mental roar. Luo Feng answered with epic calmness. When I return next time, it will be the moment I receive you as master. Impossible, impossible. You are delusional. The star tower accelerated, leaving the white wings behind. Just as countless universe-strong beings could not move the star tower, Luo Feng now understood that the white wings were also practically immovable without specific conditions. Even the strongest beings from other universes would not succeed easily. While flying, Luo Feng reflected on the newly acquired power. The killing Wu Featherwings, after absorbing the light of the source, had undergone a terrifying transformation. Their aura, when expanded to the maximum, rivaled the strangest and most divine treasures known. Let us test it! Golden Country! His divine power instantly burned. A nebulous and thin golden light was born, expanding at astonishing speed. The domain covered the entire mysterious space, penetrating even the rocks at the edges, reaching a radius of 80 light years. It was a colossal leap in power. Even with space and time destroyed by the blade storms, the Golden Country completely controlled the stable areas around the white wings and parts of the peripheral rocks. Luo Feng felt overwhelmed by his own strength. Very, very powerful. The Golden Country now rivaled the overlap of his former miniature universe and the Golden Country of the Flame Ocean. Although his divine power was slightly inferior to many top universe masters, the elevated treasure raised the domain to a level comparable to the wonders of the gods, a perfect weapon for mass suppression and battlefield control. It was then that he noticed something shocking. Within the full range of the domain, another cave passage appeared in the opposite direction from the one he had known. There is another channel? Where does it lead? The white wings could not have appeared from nowhere. They must have drifted from somewhere. Curiosity and concern that other strong beings might discover the place pushed him forward. The star tower advanced rapidly toward the new passage, a dark red cave. It pierced through 9 layers of light curtains before entering an endless bright dark red tunnel 1,000,000 kilometers high. Luo Feng did not risk the main body. The Demon Killer clan clone moved ahead, while the Star Tower followed cautiously. The Golden Country maintained constant protection across tens of billions of kilometers. The temperature gradually rose. It is hot. The clone felt the air burning. Upon touching the dark red rock wall, a strange heat was instantly transmitted. Half the arm melted like wax. Shocked, the clone retreated and regenerated the divine body. I am a universe venerable and I still burn? The temperature there was terrifying. They advanced across light years. The passage contained branches, and Luo Feng always chose the larger route, mentally recording the map with superhuman precision. The temperature increased endlessly. Soon, even the Demon Killer clone needed to remain distant to avoid being instantly incinerated. The legend says the inner region of Qingfeng Realm is extremely dangerous. Even the Chaos Lord can fall. At the center, even the strongest beings in the universe may perish. Luo Feng felt chills. The Star Tower, as a supreme palace treasure, offered double defense, material and soul, giving him courage to proceed. After more than 30 light years, the passage ended in a vast cave of flames. Streams of white flame lava rolled furiously, crossing space with red, cyan, and gray halos. Infinite flames filled the environment. Space there was strangely stable, without fluctuations, making teleportation impossible. A strand of Luo Feng's divine power was annihilated in the air before even touching the flames. Without armor, a universe master would be destroyed instantly. The Star Tower advanced slowly, touching the flames. There was no damage. Xian is Xian, Luo Feng praised. The cave was colossal. Stone pillars that looked ordinary at first glance revealed themselves to be extraordinary. Every pebble refracted light and contained internal spaces. Upon touching one, the Star Tower briefly entered a dry and empty space before exiting easily. Every pillar is made of countless pebbles, and every pebble contains a space? Luo Feng was surprised. There were no human records regarding such formations. This place is extremely dangerous in Qingfeng Realm. My race still has not explored this area? His eyes were drawn to another nearby pillar. Something within it awakened even greater curiosity. Luo Feng's progression reached new heights. the strengthening of the killing Wu feather wings, the expanded domain of the Golden Country, and the discovery of hidden passages in the heart of Qingfeng realm carried monumental stakes. Every advancement brought him closer to powers capable of shaking the cosmic balance, strengthening the human race, and challenging political enemies in the shadows. However, the internal dangers of Qingfeng realm reminded him that ambition without caution led to destruction. In the blazing and mysterious depths of Qingfeng realm, where danger lurked within every shadow of incandescent rock, Luo Feng guided the star tower with extreme caution. His eyes fixed on another seemingly ordinary stone pillar, but one that hid a subtle and revealing difference. A faint claw mark, deep, the size of the palm of a normal human hand from Earth, with 4 fingers marked on the surface. That imprint carried the weight of ancient eras. Paw prints, Luo Feng thought, his heart accelerating with a mixture of curiosity and alertness. Who could have left that mark? An ordinary universe master, even protected by the most precious armor, would have been burned to ashes in that environment. Only a being of supreme power could have reached so deep within the belly of Qingfeng realm's main mountain. Based on the calculated position, that area lay on the inclined boundary, extremely deep, far from the zones explored by the human race. There was absolutely no record of those stone pillars in their databases. Whoever had passed through there was not an ordinary strong being. It was highly likely to be one of the strongest beings in the universe. The star tower, reduced to the size of a sesame seed, approached the footprint. Luo Feng observed with microscopic attention. The center of the mark revealed different pebbles. Among the countless grains refracting light and containing internal spaces, one stood out with a faint, extraordinary, almost living aura. Go inside and see. The pinnacle of the star tower lightly touched the pebble. In an instant, it was absorbed into the space contained inside it. The temperature dropped drastically, becoming bearable, equivalent to the core of an ordinary star. A welcome relief compared to the outer hell that would incinerate the divine power of a universe venerable. The Demon Killer clan clone manifested, with the star tower resting on its shoulder. The space was vast, silent, and deadly, filled with mountains and endless rocky lands. At first glance, nothing special, but Luo Feng knew that Pebble was different from the others. Golden Country! The nebulous golden light expanded instantly, covering the entire pebble space. The rocks there were ordinary, different from the special rocks of Qingfeng realm that resisted divine power and regenerated. That confirmed it. That space was unique. In one step, the clone crossed tens of thousands of kilometers toward a mountain. On top of a smooth rock, 2 strange waves emanated. On the ground ahead, 2 items rested. The first, a cyan pendant with the engraving of an alien beast. The second, an extremely beautiful silk fabric, interwoven in black and gold, exhaling a calming aura that made the clone's divine body feel comfortable and revitalized. Luo Feng recognized both instantly. The cyan pendant was a symbol of one of the 3 cosmic Jedi, the spaceship. Possessing such a token granted extraordinary privileges, drastic reduction of danger level in many areas, and access to independent secret cultivation rooms. The spaceship was a colossal damaged superstructure, stretching across hundreds of millions of light years, capable of devouring infinite chaotic energy and attracting broken small universes to absorb them. It had appeared even before the 2 sacred universes, surrounded by dangers capable of bringing down the strongest beings in the universe and treasures sufficient to drive all races mad. The silk fabric was the Qianxi Tu, the 1,000 threads diagram, a precious material used to create illusion treasures with a strong calming effect for the soul. What Lord Yuan Ao had created previously caused madness among the strong beings. This piece was larger, with a purer and more intense aura. Luo Feng sensed its monumental value, comparable to strange treasures or sacred trees. Suddenly, a wave of fluctuation exploded from the stone wall ahead. 2 faint figures materialized. One was a woman of infinite beauty, surrounded by countless vibrant green leaves, emanating vitality that comforted the soul. The other wore a gray robe, resembling a piece of dead wood, with a crystalline head, without hair, ears, or nose, only 3 eyes and a mouth. "I am Ji Fanzi," said the gray-robed figure. "I am Zhen Lin," said the beautiful woman. Ji Fanzi continued. "When you take the 2 items I left behind, you will see this image. I do not know in which reincarnation era you are. Before my final battle, I did not wish to waste my inheritance and efforts. On the path toward the reincarnation cycle, I left this token and the map of the spaceship. The token opens an independent space. I will only take my Xeon Supreme Treasure with me. Everything else remains there. I hope that a successor will reveal everything and, if possible, transmit the secrets of my creation. Luo Feng felt his heart accelerate. Those two did not belong to the three known cosmic eras, nor to the two sacred lands. They were existences from an even more ancient era. Zhenlin added, "My Zhenlin also left a legacy. The token and the map are about 300 light-years from here. If you are strong enough, search for them. It depends on your luck." Jie Fanzi warned about the dangers of the core of Qingfeng realm, where even the strongest beings in the universe could fall. I have lived through almost 3 reincarnation eras. The limit approaches. I will fight one final time. If I succeed, I will exist forever and establish a sacred universe. Currently, the universe ocean has only one. I want there to be 2. The figures shone and disappeared, together with the image on the wall. Luo Feng remained motionless for a long time, stunned. 2 beings seeking eternity through reincarnation, leaving inheritances before their final battle. The wealth of one of the strongest solitary beings in the universe was unimaginable. Pinnacle treasures he considered useless would be supreme treasures for others. The human race, even with the contribution of the great axe creator, would gain a colossal boost if Luo Feng managed to access such an inheritance. His progression as a universe master entered legendary territory. The strengthened Killing Wu feather wings, the expanded Golden Country, and now these discoveries opened paths toward power capable of shaking the cosmic balance, strengthening humanity's position within the primitive universe, and forever altering the political implications against enemy forces. What else could be hidden within the blazing core of Qingfeng realm? Will Luo Feng manage to locate Zhenlin's legacy 300 light-years away? And when he returns, will his will be strong enough to conquer the white wings and unite the complete power of all 6 pairs? The fate of the universe seemed to tremble before the ambition of this human who challenged the eras. Luo Feng murmured softly, almost to himself, while floating within the silent void of the gravel space. After passing through reincarnation, will she exist forever? The question echoed in his mind like a whisper from the cosmos itself. The idea of a true reincarnation, capable of defying the ultimate end, was a colossal secret of the universe. Something that transcended even the understanding of most universe lords. He felt the weight of that revelation, but also the immense distance that still separated him from it. His lifespan, even considering the 3 eras of cosmic reincarnation, was still insignificant before such mysteries. Please remember that all synopses and recaps posted by the Danzai Donghua channel are based on the novel and not on the ongoing Donghua anime. That is why it may seem strange to some people. But in the end, our hero Luo Feng will receive the same blessed destiny granted by the laws of the universe origin. Without finding anything special within that gravel space through his golden kingdom, Luo Feng stored the star tower and departed. He had explored the flame mud cave for the first time, but the luck that had accompanied him in the past did not repeat itself. There was no sign of the powerful Jie Fanzi from the distant era. From the message left by Zhenlin, it was evident that the central region of that cave already belonged to the heart of danger, where even the strongest beings in the universe could fall forever. Luo Feng, with his prudence sharpened through countless battles, decided not to act rashly. If I become trapped somewhere eternal, it will be too late for regrets. He immediately turned around, following the path already mapped within his mind. The return journey was smooth. Riding the star tower, ignoring the cries of the white-winged spirit, he crossed once more through the vast wing space. It took more than 2 months of constant flight before finally reaching the ancestral cave. Without wasting time searching for treasures in the waters, Luo Feng headed directly toward the path back to the primal universe. 1 month later, he stepped once again onto Earth. In a quiet city on the Asian continent, in the discreet corner of a casual restaurant, a young man with black hair and simple clothes sat alone. In front of him were a teapot of hot tea and a cup. Luo Feng served himself slowly, listening to the conversations around him. Those living on Earth today were elites, great families, influential figures of humanity. Their trivial conversations revealed much about the current state of the human race. A man complained loudly that the investment in the Moya galaxy, made in partnership with the local Earth Emperor, had been a mistake. Giving 10% of the shares to someone so greedy had only brought problems. Does he really think we are far from the witchcraft world and cannot reach him? If it were not for the family trial this time, I would have already crushed him. Luo Feng smiled inwardly. Even at the peak of power he had reached, Earth continued to be a place where human ambition manifested itself in such mundane ways. Hearing those voices helped him keep his feet on the ground. "Ah Feng," a familiar voice called out. Luo Feng raised his eyes and saw Wei Wen approaching. The middle-aged man, with a humble appearance, smiled and sat in front of him. The friendship between them was deep, forged since the days of youth on Earth. Wei Wen looked around and asked whether someone could hear them. Luo Feng answered calmly, "When we speak, they will never remember our conversation." A simple gesture of his immense will erased any unwanted memory. Wei Wen could only shake his head in amazement. They spoke about many things. Luo Feng directly asked why Wei Wen still remained at the 9th level of Domain Lord. With the resources he provided, achieving immortality should have been simple. Wei Wen and he were like blood brothers, a feeling as strong as what he had with Luo Hua. Since Luo Feng had served as a special envoy, he had guaranteed generous resources for his parents, wife, brother, and sister-in-law. For his children, Luo Ping and Luo Hai, he was stricter. For grandchildren and distant branches of the Luo family, the rule was clear. Depend on yourselves. There would be no unlimited supply. True friendship had rational limits. Wei Wen replied calmly, "Isn't it too early? A domain lord lives for 1,000,000 years. I still have time. When I return, I will dedicate myself to becoming a world lord." Luo Feng nodded, satisfied. Despite his colossal status, Wei Wen had never changed his treatment toward him. They remained the same, talking like old friends. They drank tea until nightfall, separating with a smile. Walking alone through the illuminated streets of Earth, Luo Feng's thoughts drifted far away. 3 major questions occupied his mind. First, the white wings needed to be repaired, but for that, he needed to sharpen his will to the level of the strongest beings in the universe. The 3 main Jedi possessed perfect places for this training. Second, the inheritance of Jie Fanzi. The powerful being from the distant era had left maps, tokens, and treasures, both in the center of the Qingfeng realm and within the depths of the space ark. It was a painful temptation, almost a calculated torture. Third, Master Zuoshanka. The broken white wings, the actions of Jie Fanzi and Zhen Lin, suggested that even the strongest beings in the universe faced profound problems related to reincarnation. Why did Zuoshanki invest so much in his disciples, even giving away a Xeon supreme treasure? Luo Feng respected and trusted his master, but remained vigilant. No one could be completely naive within the universe. Now it is time to increase my strength, he decided. Restoring the white wings would consume precious materials, and Jie Fanzi's treasure would be essential for that. The plan was good, but dangerous. The previous tokens had already shown the risk. The center of the Qingfeng realm and the depths of the space ark were places where not even the Chaos City Lord would enter with certainty. Luo Feng chose the 3rd Jedi, the spaceship, to sharpen his will. Before that, he needed to gather as much information as possible. This was not a game. Even universe masters could fall there. Meanwhile, in another corner of the vast cosmos, within the inner domain of the main peak of the Qingfeng realm, 2 powerful beings confronted each other within the void where cold winds howled. An imposing figure in golden armor, with 3 faces and 8 arms, each hand holding a hammer of different size. Behind him, a giant hammer phantom materialized, condensing secret energy. He was a warrior from the Purple Moon Holy Land, one of the 2 sacred universes. Chaos City Lord, today you have to fight, and you will fight even if you do not want to. The horrible face of the figure stared at the opponent arrogantly. Chaos City Lord, wrapped in a golden robe, observed calmly. He recognized the challenge. It was the opponent's judgment battle, and he had chosen the strongest opponent possible. As expected from someone from the Purple Moon Holy Land, choosing the strong demonstrates courage. The battle exploded. The 8-armed warrior spun the hammers, transforming them into blurred shadows. The giant phantom fused with the hammers, forming a colossal hammer that rotated slowly, crushing space and annihilating everything in its path. Every inch of the universe was destroyed by the overwhelming pressure. Chaos City Lord shook his head lightly. "This is the strongest secret technique." He raised his palm. "Chaos, open!" The palm instantly grew to unimaginable proportions, becoming an enormous golden hand. Within it, an entire universe was born. Chaos, gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light. All elements emerged in perfect harmony. The palm collided directly against the destroying hammer. The impact was cataclysmic. The colossal hammer collapsed, and the golden armored warrior was thrown far away, frozen by cold winds into a cube of ice that soon shattered. He emerged gasping and admitted defeat. Incredible! Worthy of Chaos City Lord, the next one with the greatest hope of becoming the strongest being in the universe. With a flash, he disappeared. Alone within the void, Chaos City Lord whispered, "The next most promising person." He knew that the ancestor of the Purple Moon Holy Land had made such a comment, attracting many challengers. His divine body was not the strongest, but his combat power was undeniable, universally recognized. Suddenly, a message arrived within the virtual universe. Great Axe creator, Euphoric, announced, "I entered the Great Channel and by coincidence obtained a Xeon Supreme treasure, the Great Axe. I successfully recognized the owner." The news spread like lightning. Chaos City Lord became extremely excited. This was a monumental event for the entire human race. He himself transmitted the information to other universe lords. Soon, Luo Feng, Dark Lord, Void Gold Lord, and others received the message. The shock and excitement were immediate. A completely recognized Xeon Supreme treasure in the hands of one of humanity's pillars represented a gigantic leap in cosmic power and prestige. The political implications were profound. The human race gained even more weight among the powers of the universe, strengthening its position amid the complex interstellar alliances and rivalries. When Luo Feng received the news, he felt a wave of pride and motivation. The road ahead was dangerous, filled with ancient legacies, mysterious reincarnations, and battles that could last for eras. But moments like this reminded him why he fought, not only for himself, but for the continuous rise of all humanity within the vast cosmic ocean. Within the vast and merciless universe, where supreme races dispute absolute dominance, possession of a Xeon treasure represents the pinnacle of individual and collective power. For the human race, which was still recovering from the wounds left by the suppression of the original ancestor, the news that the great Axe founder had obtained a Xeon treasure was like a ray of light cutting through the cosmic darkness. Imagine the tension accumulated throughout eras. Without a supreme treasure capable of rivaling the relics of the peak races, such as the Yao, the monsters, the Zergs, and the machines, the human super beings always carried a subtle uneasiness within their hearts. Now, everything changed. The great Axe founder, already a legendary figure, wielded an axe capable of splitting entire galaxies. This combination of overwhelming personal strength with a Xeon-level artifact transformed him into an existence capable of intimidating even the most arrogant ancestors of enemy races. Within the virtual universe, in an independent flat space reserved for the highest ranks of humanity, the race's super beings gathered together. The air was filled with palpable emotion. Excited voices echoed while they discussed the profound impact of that achievement. Since the original ancestor was suppressed, our race has been tolerant, retreating whenever necessary to survive, they commented. But today, with the great Axe founder carrying the strongest treasure, our position within the primal universe becomes unshakable. The excitement was genuine. The two ancestral demons of the Yao, who for a long time had provoked and pressured the human borders with arrogance, would now have to rethink every movement. The balance of cosmic power subtly tilted in favor of humanity. It was not merely a material gain, it was a declaration of strength that would echo across the stellar realms, making enemies think twice before any open provocation. Around a long table, refined dishes and heavenly wine were served. The great Axe founder and the 19 universe masters sat together, drinking, laughing loudly, and sharing stories. Their faces radiated pure joy, a rare demonstration of relaxation among existences carrying the weight of galaxies upon their shoulders. The banquet celebrated not only the treasure, but the resilience of the human race as a whole. The great Axe founder, with his imposing presence, raised his voice. "Keep this secret for now. I am still within the inner region of the Qingfeng realm, and it will take some time before I return. Except for our strong human race, nobody else knows yet. When the right moment arrives, I will use the Xeon treasure to obtain miraculous effects." Everyone agreed. A secret like this could not remain hidden forever, but the timing was crucial to maximize the strategic impact. Unlike Luo Feng, who was still a universe venerable with a star tower capable of protecting his life in an extraordinary way, the great Axe founder operated on another level. His strength was already at the peak of the strongest beings in the universe. With the Xeon axe in his hands, he would reach an entirely new peak of power, capable of facing threats that previously would require the combined efforts of multiple masters. While the banquet continued with laughter and toasts, Chaos City Lord approached Luo Feng, a cup of black wine in hand. Luo Feng, carrying his own jar, responded respectfully. "Teacher," Chaos City Lord, visibly euphoric, sighed with admiration. "I am very happy today. Great Axe entered the ranks of the strongest beings in the universe with a true axe, a Xeon treasure perfectly suited for him. His strength will certainly reach new heights." Luo Feng nodded, sharing the same joy. Chaos City Lord then laughed and changed the subject. "Luo Feng, regarding the details about the universe boat that I sent you before, I spoke with the Great Axe founder, and now have more detailed information. I will send it to you now." Luo Feng's eyes shined with gratitude. The more data about those dangerous Jedi, the better. The silk fragment he possessed was only an extremely small fraction of the vast interior of the universe boat. Luo Feng, in turn, revealed his own contribution. "Teacher, I also have a map regarding the spaceship. I obtained it by chance within the Qingfeng realm and sent it to you." Chaos City Lord's smile froze. He held the cup for a long moment, staring at his disciple with genuine surprise. "Good boy. This is incredible. You recorded part of the central area of the spaceship? The data our race collected throughout entire eras is equivalent to what you obtained alone." He explained that complete Jedi maps were extraordinarily rare. Most strong beings who obtained them had their data quickly destroyed. Only the most confident, or the most powerful, like the Great Axe founder himself, Chaos City Lord, and others with exceptional life-saving abilities, dared to carry them. Luo Feng confirmed that he had obtained the map by chance, while searching for treasures in the waters of the Qingfeng realm. The map recorded a significant portion of the universe boat, including a small central area. The conversation quickly spread. The Great Axe founder stood up and announced with a powerful voice, "Everyone come here! Another joyful event for our human race." Eyes brightened all around the table. Luo Feng, within the waters of the Qingfeng realm, obtained by chance the Qianxi II map left behind by a strong being from the reincarnation era. It records a portion of the inner space of the universe boat, doubling our previous range and including a small central area. The hall exploded into celebration. Universe Masters approached Luo Feng with raised cups, thanking and congratulating him. Luo Feng deeply felt the unity of the human race. Despite internal rivalries on other levels, when it came to collective survival and prosperity, everyone marched in the same direction. This mutual dedication was what allowed humanity to resist races far older and more numerous. Later, the Great Axe founder approached Luo Feng privately. His sharp eyes conveyed gratitude and respect. "You donated the map freely, and this is a Jedi map. You have done much for the ethnic group. The strongest ethnic group requires the dedication of the strong. Logically, this map should be worth 10,000 treasure points. However, he sincerely explained the limitations. The race's resources were finite, accumulated throughout eras by the tireless contributions of universe masters and the strongest beings. Because of that, I can only give you 5,000 treasure points," concluded the founder. Luo Feng smiled and refused excessive praise. "You are all too polite, founder." The leader nodded, emphasizing, "What you need is to become stronger. Do not refuse. As soon as possible, advance to Universe Lord." Luo Feng felt the weight of that responsibility. The human race depended on figures such as the Great Axe founder, Chaos City Lord, and the 19 Universe Masters, as well as the invisible influence of the original ancestor. Later, seated in a restaurant within Yangzhou City, near his Luofu mansion, with sunlight shining through the windows, Luo Feng held a cup of tea while frowning in deep concentration. He analyzed the newly acquired information. The universe boat tokens were divided into levels: black, cyan, and silver. Cyan tokens, usually in the hands of the strongest beings in the universe, represented extremely dangerous areas within the depths of the inner space, close to the limit of the central region. "Jie Fanzi, you left treasures in such a dangerous place," Luo Feng thought. Even Chaos City Lord would have difficulty invading certain cyan token secret rooms. Even so, after 3 months on Earth, Luo Feng made his decision. Silently, he left the primal universe once more and headed toward the universe boat, determined to face the dangers that could elevate his strength to unimaginable heights. This journey was not merely personal. Every advancement made by Luo Feng strengthened the entire human race, reinforcing its position on the cosmic chessboard, where a single mistake could mean extinction. The future promised epic battles, revelations about the universe boat, and transformations that would shake the power structures of the entire universe. What will Luo Feng find within the depths of the universe boat? What ancient and dangerous secrets await him? The human race is about to take another giant step toward the cosmic peak. Within the infinite universe, the fate of countless races and eras trembles before the growing power of this human who rises to challenge time and eternity. May the path of evolution never stop. May your will remain unshakable like Luo Feng, and may your divine body strengthen through every tribulation. Happy cultivating, everyone. May you all break through and become immortals in the near future. Subscribe for more daily recaps.